Sailing, full-level Lightning Dragon Slayer, Build the Fairy Tale Emperor. Author, Pirates. Chapter 301 The Thunder Dragon King kills the 5 elders of the Tauren with one punch! Subscribe. Naval Headquarters. The bull demon growled. Horror sound waves indiscriminately kill the quartet. Even the islands of Saibadi, which are separated by a sea, are affected. Under the sudden sonic explosion, an unknown number of people covered their ears in pain and rolled all over the floor. However, even if it is such a horrible strange sound, it didn't do anything to Suyu, who was close at hand. Why are you yelling so loudly all of a sudden? Suyu easily and freely took out the 730 and picked out his ears, unmoved at all. HMPH. The real battle is just beginning now. The Minotaur 5 elders snorted coldly. Boom boom boom. His feet slammed on the ground one after another, causing the earth to tremble and roar. The fist entwined with the thick haki lightning burst into the atmosphere, and pressed down on Suyu's head mercilessly. An offensive against the 5 elders, the highest power in the world. Suyu didn't dodge or dodge, letting 5 elders' fist hit him in the face. Boom, rumble. The dilapidated headquarters further exploded. The ground seemed to be hit by Gilda's shattering magic. One after another, square stones bounced up. Hit. 5 elders hit the man. In this way, even Fairy Tale will grow. Even the 4 emperors. The smiles on the faces of Marine and the government's powerful people stopped abruptly before they could fully bloom. Because they discovered Suyu, who was hit by 5 elders' heavy punch, never even took a step back from the beginning to the end. That's it? Suyu smiled sarcastically. I don't even have the strength to beat people. This whole body of tendons is really growing for nothing. What did you say? The bull-headed giant 5 elders opened his round eyes angrily, extremely angry. Moo-hoo tilde. The earth-shattering roar of the reckless bull burst again, and it output all its strength to Suyu at a very close range. The golden sound wave of destruction turned into a ball, wrapping Suyu's whole body. Tear it up in sonic. The Minotaur 5 elders laughed triumphantly. Unfortunately, this level of attack is still far away. A faint voice came from the sound wave ball. Immediately afterwards, the high-pitched and clear dragon chant sounded. Hoang. The roar and roar of the giant dragon standing at the top of the food chain exploded. Crush the Minotaur 5 elders' proud sonic attack. The terrifying power pushed the bull-headed giant to fly upside down, its brain buzzing, until Jupiter the 5 elders recover from the dragon's roar. Next second, Ultimate's terrifying death haze is like a shadow, and the Jupiter 5 elders are all dead in an instant. Let me teach you how to punch. Suyu's faint voice sounded in the ears of the bull-headed giant 5 elders, like a thunderbolt. Next second, the fist entwined with black thunder continued to enlarge in the pupils of the bull-headed giant 5 elders. Boom, rumble. A huge gully opened in the ground of naval headquarters. Under the mighty power of the Thunder Dragon King, the 5 elders fell to the bottom of the abyss like a meteor. 5 elders. How could such a thing happen? 5 elders. 5 elders turned out to be this is fake. That's the world's most powerful 5 elders. Even the most powerful 5 elders lost to that man. Were they blown away? 4.5 inches. Fairy Tale President, 4 Emperors. Suyu, how terrifying is it? All over the battlefield, the powerhouses of the Marine and world government are all terrified. I don't want to believe it, and I can't believe what I see before my eyes. Meaning, the one shot down by Suyu is the world's highest power 5 elders. A 5 elders has fallen? This is the ultimate event that has never been heard before. Chapter 302 5 elders. The Tauren who pretended to be dead and absconded! Subscribe. Thunder Dragon King's collapsing fist. Boom, rumble. The Thunder Dragon King wrapped in jet black thunder struck impartially on the body of the bull-headed giant 5 elders. Ultimate's powerful force caused the broken ground of naval headquarters to open a huge gully reaching the ground again. The bull-headed giant 5 elders Peter turned into a shooting star and fell straight to the ground. Gudong tilde, gudong gudong tilde. Sizzle. Saibadi Islands, Live Plaza. The sounds of rolling Adam's apples and gasping for air conditioning from reporters and people eating melons came one after another, one after another. This. We must not have witnessed history. 5 elders. 5 elders. Why is there no movement? Maybe. 24. The world's most powerful 5 elders must have been instantly killed by that man. This. How can such a thing be possible? That is the 5 elders, the highest power in the world. The world's highest power is not the world's highest combat power after all. What the 5 elders are facing is the real world's strongest. Yes, at this point, no one will have any doubts. Fairy Tale Chairman 4 Emperors. Suyu is the strongest man in the world. But, 5 elders Peter Saint is also a Zoan Newman's ability user. That's right, the Zoan Phantom Beast Minotaur. Such a powerful bull-headed giant. Even if he loses to 4 Emperors Suyu, he won't be instantly killed. The Phantom Beast Knights of the Gods Knights all have combat power that is not inferior to Admiral. There is no reason why the 5 elders, who are also Phantom Beasts, will be weaker. The journalists and melon-eaters who gathered in the square were in disbelief and did not dare to accept the terrifying reality before them. No matter how powerful the devil fruit is, if the ability user is a fool, it wouldn't be too surprising to be killed in seconds. Captain Asta's kid whispered. Having been in a high position all the year round, hiding in the safe holy place Marie Joyce, he has never experienced a head-to-head fight with a strong man. Even if such a guy has a powerful fruit, it is just a show. Haming Skillichman sneered. Is that true? Fallen Marine Rear Admiral Drake squints his eyes. No matter how weak your personal strength is, the Phantom Beast is a Phantom Beast after all. It is the top ability in Zoan. Whether it is defensive power or recovery power, choose extraordinary. In other words, if they weren't killed, then the 5 elders were playing dead. Capone Big, the captain of the flame tank pirates, thought of this possibility with a strange look. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield. There were panicked shouts. 5 elders. Master 5 elders. Bastard, what the hell did you do to the 5 elders who are the highest power in the world? This time it's really immortal. Fairy tale. Don't think that doing these 433 kinds of things can be good. The eyes of Marine and the government's powerhouses were all tearing apart, and they yelled, Song Dang Jupiter 5 elders has really been killed in seconds. Yeah. Suyu shook his head helplessly. I didn't expect the so-called supreme power in the world to be so timid. This is just the beginning. The moment the voice fell, Suyu raised his right foot high. Then he stomped heavily to the ground. Boom boom boom. The ground of naval headquarters opened a huge hole again. The terrifying impact will hide in the ground and pretend to be dead, and the giant 5 elders, who escaped on the same plane, blasted out of the ground again. Chapter 303. The sea is the only one. Fear of the 5 elders. Subscribe. Alive. Great. The 5 elders are alive. Let me just say, how could Master 5 elders lose so easily? Even if it is the strongest man in the world, it is absolutely impossible to kill Master 5 elders with one punch. After all, Lord 5 elders Peter is also a Zoan Newman's ability user. All over the naval headquarters battlefield, seeing the 5 elders, Marine and the government's elite managers who were forced to return to the surface, cheered excitedly. However, this moment, the face of the bull-headed giant 5 elders was extremely ugly because his escape plan was declared bankrupt before it even started. As expected by Drake et al., as a Zoan Phantom Beast capable user, he has unparalleled defense and resilience. Even if he loses to Suyu, who is the strongest, he won't be killed by one punch. The reason why there has been no movement is that there is no immediate return to the battlefield. Even if the outside world rumored that he was killed in seconds, he would remain indifferent or just to be able to withdraw from the battlefield. Yes, that's right. The bull-headed giant 5 elders Peter was indeed deliberately playing dead before, trying to avoid Suyu's further pursuit because he really doesn't want to continue fighting with Sunning anymore. He regrets it. I regret coming to this battlefield. Previously at Marie Joyce, he vowed to let go of his rhetoric. He personally led the Knights of the Gods to join the battle on Dingshang, hoping to restore Xiaora's disadvantage. Apart from his trust in Seraphim and God's Knights, he is also very confident in his own strength. Possessing the monitor form of the Zoan human fruit Phantom Beast, he is confident that he is not inferior to the generals. Even against the so-called strongest Whitebeard and Suyu, he is confident that he can fight. However, until after actually fighting Suyu before, only then did he realize that he was wrong. Because he was wrong, although it was only a brief confrontation, it was enough for him to understand the gap between him and Suyu. The strange strength he was so proud of couldn't even make Suyu take a step back. On the other hand, Suyu's casual blow smashed his arms and broke his ribs. The gold content of the world's strongest man far exceeded his imagination. He knew that Suyu was already stronger than Admiral and 4 emperors. He is the only existence in the sea. He alone is determined to be unable to compete with it. Even if the 2 5 elders join forces, the odds are still slim. As the highest authority in the world, the Sleepy Star 5 elders Peter certainly would not want to die in vain. He also wanted to continue enjoying the thrill of supreme power. That's why he chose to pretend to be dead in a humiliating way, trying to survive. However, Suyu didn't give him this chance. Directly forced him from the ground with violence. Jahahaha, what's the matter? Mr. 5 elders, your face is ugly. By the way, you didn't want to pretend to be dead in the ground before. The top outdoor anchor Golden Lion Shiki saw through 5 elders' intentions and exposed them mercilessly. How come? Do not make jokes. How could the highest authority in the world pretend to be dead? The true horror of Lord 5 elders has yet to unfold. Marine and the elites of the government shouted loudly one after another. West 5 elders held their respects. Cool la, be timid before fighting. The so-called 5 elders are nothing more than that. 4 Emperors Whitebeard laughed teasingly. If you were so afraid of death, you shouldn't have come to the battlefield from the very beginning, and you should have stayed in your ivory tower Holy Land and waited for our arrival. See Overlord Rox sneered. Shut up. The Minotaur 5 elders Pete yelled angrily. Since you want to court death so much, then I will fulfill you. The earth-shattering roar of the reckless bull reappeared, caused the world to change in all directions. Endless smoke and dust billowed into the sky, covering the sky and the sun. Under the cover of smoke and dust, a strange cold light flashed, stabbed towards Suyu's back heart silently. Big. Chapter 304 Can't break the defense? Venus 5 Elders stupid. Subscribe. The sound of the roar of the mythical monster Minotaur made the earth tremble and sink. The sea in all directions set off monstrous waves, and endless dust soared up to the sky, covering the sky and covering the sun, and the momentum was extremely huge. However, for the strong standing at the top of the sea, the sky-changing and earth-shattering caused by the bullhead giant 5 Elders is like a breeze blowing on the face, without the slightest effect. The Minotaur 5 Elders knew it too. The fact that his own sonic attack is ineffective against Suyu. The reason why he is still tireless is not to pretend to show the majesty of the world's highest power. Its real purpose is to assist, create opportunities for secret partners. From the beginning, the 5 Elders who came to the top of the battlefield had 2,380 people, Taurus giant Jupiter 5 Elders in the light, responsible for scheduling everything. As for the other highest authority in the world, he has been hiding in the dark from beginning to end, waiting for the opportunity and waiting for the opportunity to move. Now is the time to move. Use the mighty momentum raised by the Minotaur 5 Elders as cover. The second 5 Elders, who had been hiding in the dark, finally took action. The blade flashing with a strange light pierced through the space without a sound. He stabbed at Suyu's back heart mercilessly. This is a flawless law. The second place is the depth of hidden kung fu of 5 Elders. Even the observation haki of Roger, the Overlord of the Sea, and Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, cannot be captured. The suddenness of this attack was unexpected even for Kfdi, observation haki, who had foreseen the future. This knife is like the hand of a god, no one can dodge it. Suyu really failed to detect and avoid it. The blade lingering in the ghostly green will-o'-the-wisp precisely pierced the back of his chest. Nani. The powerhouses all over the battlefield felt something in their hearts and turned their heads suddenly. Who is that guy? What time is it? I didn't notice at all. In the end what happened? The president. The president was assassinated. Wow. President. The nervous and anxious voices of the fairy tale girls echoed everywhere. Calm down, President is fine, Erza said in a low voice. That's right. Trust the president. The president will not be killed by this level of attack. Mirajan, Robin and other girls spoke one after another. As Erza and others believed. Although Suyu was hit by the attack from behind, but only a ding was heard. It was like the sound of gold and iron clashing. That law knife failed to penetrate Suyu's body. Even Suyu's body surface defense failed to break through. Nani. Venus 5 Elder Zambolong Venero was taken aback. The pupils of both eyes suddenly narrowed to the size of a needle point. In any case, it is impossible to believe or accept the facts in front of you. Lurking on the battlefield for a long time, it is for this unexpected law opportunity. Nowadays, the opportunity has been seized by him. But in the end it was the result. Can't break the defense? His knife couldn't even break through Suyu's body defense. This kind of thing is simply a fantasy. You must know that what he holds in his hand is the supreme sharp knife, the first generation Gitch, which is unparalleled in the world. His sword skills have been polished for tens of hundreds of years, and he is unparalleled in sword skills. Coupled with the blessing of the powerful devil fruit ability, the power of the three faces merged into one, and the assassination failed in the end. How solid is this man's body? Just when Venus 5 Elders Nasujiro was immersed in the shock and couldn't extricate himself. Next second, a great sense of death threat flooded his heart. Rewind, Nasujiro. The Jupiter 5 Elders yelled. However, it was still a step too late. So you grabbed it with a backhand, and clasped his big hand on the face of Venus 5 Elders Nashiro. I finally showed up. If you don't take the initiative to show up, I really can't find where you are. So you grinned. Grab the heads of the Venus 5 Elders. Get into a standard bowling pose. It fell hard towards the ground. Whoosh, boom, rumble. Chapter 305 Shocking the audience. Head the 5 Elders. Subscribe. Sepudi Islands. Live Plaza. What happened? Suddenly there was a big wind and sand. The live broadcast screen is blocked by wind and sand. 5 Elders. It's 5 Elders who went crazy. That's right. Lord Peter Saint must be serious about it. All the reporters and the Melanitas were shocked and uproarious. Hey, look. There seems to be a person behind 4 Emperors Suyu. Really? There is really a person here? What time did it appear? I don't know. I didn't notice it at all, as if it just appeared out of nowhere! Ah, that man's knife pierced through Fairy Tail. Will it grow? The president of Fairy Tail ... 4 Emperors Suyu was assassinated. This... Where the hell is it that has the guts to successfully assassinate that man? There was an uproar in the live broadcast square. No, the assassination was unsuccessful. Sky Island's strange monk Uj stopped drinking. Although I don't know how that person quietly appeared behind 4 Emperors Suyu, but it is not easy to assassinate a Sea Emperor, said Caponebig, captain of the Flame Tang Pirates, and he who failed to assassinate will usher in the Emperor of the Sea. Captain Asta's kid spoke faintly. The moment the voice fell, I saw the live broadcast on the big screen. So you grabbed the head of Venus' 5 elders with one hand, and hit the ground like a bowling ball. The force of the terrifying collision caused the shock to disperse, the dust flying all over the sky. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield. The trembling earth returned to calm. On the broken headquarters battlefield, a figure is like an onion upside down. The entire upper body is planted into the ground. The feet of the lower body bounce like bugs. Gee ha 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 ha, you really deserve it. If you want to sneak attack secretly, you will end up like this. The top outdoor anchor Golden Lion Shiki laughed teasingly and sarcastically. Who do you think the president of my family is? Dare to sneak attack? Shut up. The leader of the Knights of God, Feijia Landgarin, who was in the duel with Gilduts, glared at the Golden Lion and scolded him. Others don't know, but it's impossible for him not to know. In this operation, not one of the highest authorities was dispatched, but two. Hey, just kidding. All the powerhouses in world government CP0 murmured in shock and shook their heads. Although I don't want to think that way, but, ask for flowers. That outfit, except for that lord. Is it really that grown up? Although only the lower body can be seen. But, as the world's highest power, the CP0s directly subordinate to the 5 elders, know the temperament and attire of the 5 elders most clearly. Even if they just look at the lower body, their minds are already full of the whole picture. Point 0. Nasu 0. The bull-headed giant Jupiter 5 elders Pete let out a loud cry. 3 steps and 2 steps, came to the side of the upside-down Venus 5 elders, and pulled him out of the ground. Hear the Jupiter 5 elders yell. All the powerhouses of the world government CP and some elite executives of naval headquarters all reacted one after another. Instantly, all the faces were involuntarily shocked and unbelievable. Najaru, Master Nasudaru, that lord, he is really one of the 5 elders. Financial Valkyrie 5 elders Zamblong Venahausen, the second highest power in the world. Second place 5 elders. Blown up by that man. Chapter 306 Overlord Rocks wants to hunt 5 elders. Please subscribe. Wow tilde. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves. When the identity of the assassin is revealed. News spread that the 5 elders, the second highest power in the world, had landed on the battlefield. People inside and outside the battlefield couldn't help but exploded again. Wang Differ, did you hear that? That person, the person who assassinated 4 emperors Suyu earlier. That lord is actually the 5 elders, the highest authority in the world. 5 elders Zamblong Venaz Yishu Lang Sheng. I've heard of the name Landlord Zero before. Not just one. For this war, the world government actually dispatched 2 5 elders. It's simply an unprecedented big deal. Where will the outcome of this war go? Saypaddy's live broadcast square. The tens of thousands of reporters and Melanitas gathered here collectively boiled. The Knights of the Gods, Seraphim, and 2 5 elders. It seems that the world government has really spent a lot of money this time. Caponebig, the captain of the Flame Tank Pirates, shook his head in a shocked murmur. Although I have spent a lot of money, I am afraid that in the end, I will have to fetch water from a bamboo basket, and I will lose all my money. Sky Island Strange Monkero Uj said. The Shikibukai's clone weapon Seraphim has fallen into the hands of Fairy Tail. Is it the turn of the 5 elders? Killik Era raised an eyebrow. Blah, the 5 elders, the 2 highest powers in the world, have been defeated. This is really unprecedented news. Haeming Skilachmanap laughed strangely. Don't underestimate the world government. 5 elders Pit is a Zoan phantom beast species ability user, so the second 5 elders Nasushiro is definitely not an ordinary person. If he has the ability, there is a high probability that he is also a phantom beast species, a godlike fruit. Fallen Marine Rear Admiral Drake solemnly said. No matter what ability it is meaningless in front of that man's overwhelming strength. Captain Asta's kid spoke faintly. According to my divination results, the winning rate of 2 5 elders against 4 emperors Suyu is 0%. Hawkins said. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield, 5 elders. Nasjuro Sage. That's the highest power in the world, the 5 elders. Not only Lord Peter, but also Lord Shu is here. It was Lord 5 elders, the highest authority in the world, who assassinated 4 emperors Suyu earlier. In various places on the battlefield, powerful people from both the marine and the government sides were shocked and in an uproar. Cut. What is the highest power in the world? Just a shady rat in the sewer. That's right. First, I was so frightened by President Suyu that I hid in the ground and remained motionless. Now there's another sneak attack from behind. It's a pity that in the face of absolute power, any conspiracy is useless. If you are sensible, quickly raise your hands and surrender. The Whitebeard pirates and their 43 affiliated pirates took the opportunity to ridicule them again and again. Marine and the government leaders were so angry that their faces turned red and blue. They wanted to refute but couldn't because it was really the case. Gee ha 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 ha, It's really lively today. 2 of the 5 elders who usually never go down the mountain came here at once. Is this because you know that 1 is not enough for my guild leader, so you came here specially to give me a pair? In the sky, outdoor anchor Golden Lion Shiki laughed again and again. Shut up, Shiki, trouble comes from your mouth, and you will pay the price for your poison. Kong, the Commander-in-Chief of the World Government Armed Forces, threatened coldly. Jiha, I'm waiting. The old god Golden Lion Shiki was there, not panicking at all. It's just that before I suffer, you seem to be in front of me. 1.3 Kula, I have no intention of being an enemy of the world government, but if it is President Suyu's wish, then let's have a fight. For Emperor's Whitebeard laughed and stepped forward to express his position. What does the blood of the 5 elders, the world's most powerful people, smell like? It's so unbearable. The eyes of Rocks, the overlord of the sea, flashed with bloodlust. While suppressing the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin, at the same time coveting the 2 5 elders, ready to hunt at any time. Chapter 307 Zone Human Fruit Phantom Beast Yaksha Form Subscription. Naval Headquarters, atop the battlefield. The appearance of 5 elders, the second highest power in the world, pushed the battlefield sentiment to a new climax. However, even if it is the debut of the second 5 elders, it also couldn't boost Marine's morale. After all anyway, the appearance of Venus 5 elders is somewhat embarrassing. The assassination failed, but he was thrown headfirst on the ground like a ball. The appearance of just one of the world's highest powers has already been unable to have much impact on the battle situation. The only use, perhaps, is to bring today's big event to a new level of shock. You too, how is your rest? If it's almost there, let's continue. Suyu stretched out the wings of the Thunder Dragon King, and looked at the 2 supreme powers in the world who were frightened and angry with kindness on his face. Suyu, 29. You bastard. Feel the ultimate terrifying power emanating from Suyu's body. Jupiter Old Star Peter and Venus 5 elders Nashiro both stared at each other. An uncontrollable expression of horror, fear and uneasiness appeared on the old face. Under Suyu's gaze, they felt as if they were being stared at by a giant dragon in the clouds. Countless cells all over his body are sounding the alarm, telling of danger. This is something that has never happened before. Even the Rocks, the overlord of the sea, never gave them such a feeling. As the highest authority on the bright side of the world government, the top of the celestial dragons. Of course they won't be trash. On the contrary, they are strong. After a long life of tempering, even a pig can become a sperm. Not to mention them who have mastered the powerful Udman's ability. Before coming to the top of the battlefield, they set themselves high. He thinks that his strength is definitely not inferior to Admiral and 4 emperors. 1-on-1, even if you can't win, no one can stop you if you want to leave. Not to mention the combined strength of the 2, even if it is the strongest in the world, it will definitely not be able to win. However, at the moment, after witnessing and experiencing Suyu's power with his own eyes, neither the Jupiter 5 elders nor the Venus 5 elders could be more confident. They underestimated the power of the generals who grew up fighting in the sea. They overestimated their own strength who were pampered and had little combat experience. They even misjudged the horror of Suyu, the strongest 4 emperors in the New World, and his subordinate fairy tale. What's wrong? 5 elders of the highest authority, are you afraid? Are you planning some escape plan again? Suyu put his arms around his arms and spoke teasingly. Or, are you waiting for the other 3 5 elders to arrive and go together? Suyu smiled. Fairy tale, bastard. Are you really going to fight us today? Jupiter 5 elders Peter's face darkened, and he threatened in a stern and restrained way. No, don't get me wrong. Suyu waved his hand calmly. I just want to kill the 2, or be killed by the 2, that's all. Suyu grinned brightly. This is what you asked for, don't regret it. Monitor Jupiter 5 elders swears. In that case, let's fight. Venus 5 elders Nazisharu draws his sword out of its sheath. The supreme sword first generation Git shone with an ominous and strange cold light. At the same time 780, under the collective gaze of more than 100,000 pairs of eyes inside and outside the battlefield, Venus 5 elders Nazisharu's body changed dramatically. It doesn't take a moment. An ominous demon surrounded by auspicious clouds appeared in the eyes of everyone. FKE, this. What the hell is this? For a while, I don't know how many people were startled by the hideous face of Venus 5 elders after the transformation. Robin. All the fairy tale girls looked at Robin in unison. The knowledgeable Robin did not disappoint. Yaksha. That's the Yaksha from Myths and Legends. Robin spoke firmly. The ability of this 5 elders is the ability of the Zone Human Fruit Phantom Beast Yaksha form. Chapter 308 The 5 elders are furious. 4 emperors' redheads are coming soon. Subscribe. Yaksha. The earthly Yaksha from Myths and Legends. Yes, you can't be wrong. There is green fire on the top of the head, and the triangular eyes are arranged up and down. That posture is that of the demigod Yaksha. Zone Fruit Phantom Beast type Yaksha form ability. Really? What on earth is going on today? Zone Phantom Beast species, which are rarer than Logia, appear one after another, especially the Rinran fruit. In addition to Marshal Sengoku's Big Buddha, are there actually so many branches of Phantom Beasts? According to this rhythm, I won't be too surprised even if there are people with human fruit phantom beast god form abilities. People inside and outside the battlefield couldn't help being shocked, amazed, and in an uproar. World Center, Holy Land Marie Joys, Pang-U City 5 Elders Hall. The three world's highest powers staying here are all frowning at this moment, and their faces are extremely ugly. I thought that with Pit leading the Knights of God and Seraph to attack, and with Nasushiro holding the battle in secret, everything would be safe. I didn't expect that Feijia would deteriorate to this level. Saturn 5 Elders Satan tightly grasped the crutch in his hand. It's all because of Fairy Tail, because of that man. Mercury 5 Elders Wokuli locked his eyes on Tsuyu in the center of the live broadcast screen, with a ferocious expression on his face as if he was choosing someone and devouring him. We miscalculated the power of Fairy Tail. In the past 6 months, their strength has grown further. Marcus 5 Elders Marcus Mars, with white hair and beard reaching his waist, sighed. Such an abnormal growth rate is simply unheard of. They really are outliers in this world. If I knew this earlier, when they emerged, I should have erased them at all costs. Mercury 5 Elders Wokuli's face turned red with anger. At this point, it's too late to say more. The most important thing right now is the Naval Headquarters battlefield. How will it end? That man has made it clear that he wants to fight us until death. Even if Peter and Nasturo join forces, maybe. Saturn 5 Elders Satan shook his head irritably. Then what are we going to do? Should we all support the past together? Mercury 5 Elders Wally Road. That's not necessary. Even if Pete and Nasharu can't win that man, it's not easy for that guy to keep them. Mars 5 Elders make Esma's calm opening. Because I have never been to the scene of the war, I have never fought against Tsuyu in person, and I feel the overwhelming strength gap. So now he still has full confidence in himself and the strength of his partners. 5 Elders heard the words. The other 2 elders nodded in sympathy. They think so too. A certain sea area, about 5 kilometers away from naval headquarters, the sea swelled without warning. A coated ship breaks out of the sea, snapped. The colorful bubble coating is broken. Wow! The twin-sword pirate flag fluttered in the wind. If anyone were here, they would definitely be shocked beyond measure, because appearing here at this moment is one of the emperors who rules the new world. 4 emperors red hair pirates led by Shanks. Boss, something bad seems to have happened over at naval headquarters. The little fat man lazily held the big bone and meat in his hand and ate happily while talking. Okay Zhao. It doesn't seem like it. This is really an incredible chaos. It's beyond imagination. Observation Haki's outstanding Red Bull cock Yasip has a little cold sweat on his forehead. It seems that today's summit war event is more serious than we imagined. Vice Captain Ben Beckman spoke seriously. Boss. At this moment, newcomer Rockstar's almost deafening shout came from the cabin. Something big happened. While we were coating and sneaking, an unprecedented big event happened. Chapter 309 Yuta's Shanks' daughter! Subscribe. New Worlds for Emperors Group. Each has its intelligence channel. From the moment the war started, the intelligence service of the Red Hair Pirates was set in motion. Send what happened on the battlefield to the Red Force mothership via fax phone bug. Only, because Red Force has been coating and sailing in the deep sea so far. As a result, the external signal has not been able to be transmitted in place. Until now, the Red Hair Pirates break out of the sea. All the radio signals arrived in one brain. Fax machine power spreads. According to the order of arrival of the signal, present the Red Hair Pirates with the events that took place on the top battlefield. Nani. The Whitebeard Pirates were wiped out. 803 was destroyed in a dream. What kind of reversal is this? Why is it in a dream? Oh, look, it's the president of Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail chairman for Emperor Tsuyu. If it is him, no matter what happens, it will not be too surprising. But I still don't understand how he made the war happen in his sleep. According to the information, it seems that it is not President Tsuyu, but the girl next to her. The ordinary members of Red Hair Pirates are all suspicious and puzzled. This moment, headed by the 4 emperors red-haired Shanks, Vice Captain Baker, Little Fatty Lazaru, Sniper Yasip, Ship Dr. Dij, Navigator Ben Dayui, etc. Red Hair Pirate Soul people. Everyone's eyes were wide open, and they looked at the charming singer girl with red and white hair in the information without blinking. Boss, everyone, what's the matter with you? I know that the war reversal in the dream is very surprising, but it doesn't have to be like this. The real bomb is yet to come. Newcomer Rockstar waved the big things that were waiting to be announced. However, for the other big things Rockstar said, the officials of Red Hair Pirates didn't seem to care at all. Boss. This, She. Fatty Rosalu stumbled and stuttered, unable to even speak a complete sentence. Yuta. It's Yuta. That's our diva little Yuta. Sniper Yasip yelled. Ha. Yuta sauce. Dad. It's really Yuta, our little diva of the Red Hair Pirates. I didn't expect Yuta to join Fairy Tail. The ship Dr. Dij, the navigator Bendik, Lime Jones and other carders all laughed loudly. Yuta, you've really grown up. 4 emperors red-haired Shanks looked lovingly at the girl in intelligence. Alas, boss. Everyone, what is going on here? Boss, why do you care so much about this diva girl? Boss, do you know this girl? Who is this diva? The newcomers who joined the Red Group in the past 10 years were all puzzled and asked repeatedly. I know. Of course I know. Because Yuta's the little princess of our Red Hair Pirates singer. Yaksha smiled happily. Well, there is such a thing. Why don't we know? The newcomers are getting more and more puzzled. It's only natural that you don't know, because that happened more than 10 years ago. Vice Captain Beckman exhaled a smoke ring, not without melancholy. But from now on, you must know that Yuta, the princess of our Red Hair Pirates, is the daughter of the boss Shanks. Fatty Rayleigh revealed this little-known secret. As his voice fell, the huge deck couldn't help being silent. After a moment of silence, Chapter 310 For Emperor's Red Hair, Long Time No See, Captain Roger. Yuta's the boss daughter. Following the words of the little fat man Rayleigh, the voice fell. The huge red force couldn't help but fall into absolute silence. Next second, well, alas, the din and uproar of ultimate resounds through deck. Boss. The boss's daughter? Our boss has such a big daughter? The newcomer rockstar stumbled and said, his face was full of extreme shock and disbelief. What? No way, Shanks is 40 anyway. Sniper Yaksha said. Oh, no, I didn't mean that, it's just about the boss's daughter. So far we have never heard the boss or everyone talk about it. Yeah, I haven't heard of it either. Speaking of the boss, since she is the singer of our Red Hair Pirates, why is she living outside? Could it be that there was an accident before that caused little Yuta to get lost? The members of the Red Group who have joined in the past 10 years have opened their mouths and asked questions one after another. Well, don't guess, there are deep karma, said the ship doctor. In short, all you need to know is that Yuta is the eternal singer of our Red Hair Pirates. Navigator Bendick said. TSK, I didn't expect Yuta to join Fairy Tail. Lime Jones wondered. It might be a good thing for Yuta to join Fairy Tail. Deputy Captain Ben Beckman exhales a smoke ring. Ahahaha, at least it's better than staying with us gangsters. For Emperor's red-haired Shanks said. Say it. His eyes fell on the still shocking newcomer rockstar. Is there anything else happening at Naval Headquarters besides Suyu and Yuta? Asked the redhead. Oh. The rookie rockstar came back to his senses, and quickly sent all the information on the major events left in his hands. Except for Princess Yuta and President Suyu. Not long after this, all members of Fairy Tail landed on the top battlefield, and then the reinforcements from the world government also arrived, and there were all kinds of terrible events. Boss, see for yourself. The shock on Rockstar's face was palpable. Boss, look, it's Mr. Luffy and Rayleigh, and the revolutionaries, and they're in the fight. Fatty Lazaru's eyes lit up. Nani. According to the legend of the last era, the flying pirate Golden Lion Shiki has become an accessory of Fairy Tail. Asking for flowers. Sniper Yaksha screamed. 22 at exclamation mark at caret plus. What? The world government actually sent such a luxurious lineup. Not only the Commander-in-Chief Kong, but also the Knights of the Gods, and even the 5 elders ended up in person. Benk Punch, the Kada musician with a monkey, screams. Hiss. For Emperorsbigmom, Charlotte Linlin and Kaido of the Beasts have both descended on the battlefield. Navigator Bendick couldn't help but gasped. Gilders and his gang, as I expected, they are also a member of Fairy Tail. Vice Captain Ben Beckman nodded. Hey, are you kidding me? Can anyone tell me what's going on? Why did the person who died for many years, that Pirate King Roger, come back to life? The ship Dr. Dij couldn't help but screamed. It's not just Roger the One Piece, but also Rox, the Overlord of the Sea 36 years ago, Kozuki Oden, the legendary warrior of Wano Kuni. The army of the undead appeared on the top battlefield. Lion Jones took a deep breath and suddenly turned to Captain Shanks. Let's set sail, target Naval Headquarters. For Emperor's red-haired Shanks suppressed the tears in his eyes and ordered to set sail. Captain Roger, Mr. Oden, long time no see. Chapter 311 A major event unseen in 800 years! Subscribe. Naval Headquarters, atop the battlefield. A major event that has not happened in 800 years is happening now. The legendary marine hero Garp and the undead pirate King Roger battle again. The end of the original 4 emperors Kaido of the Beasts and the undead warrior Kozuki Oden, 36 years ago Rox's for Emperorsbigmom. The trigger of everything is the total combat power of Marine and the Whitebeard pirates. Certainly. The most important thing that cannot be ignored is naturally the all-out showdown between Fairy Tail and the world's 870 government. Fairy Tail's S-class mages versus the Knights of the Holy Land and the strongest shield celestial dragons. There is also the most exciting battlefield, the fierce battle between Fairy Tail President Suyu and the 2 highest powers, the 5 elders. The chaos of the scene and the number of heroes participating in the battle were unprecedented. This battle is destined to go down in history and be sung through the ages. It seems that I don't need to do anything else. So I will concentrate on live broadcasting this battle for President Subao. Above the sky, the outdoor anchor Golden Lion Shiki laughed loudly. Determined to do a good job as an outdoor anchor. There are 3 video phone bugs that can be used for live broadcast. The one with the best performance is naturally the one that keeps an eye on the battlefield between Suyu and the 5 elders. The other 2 are deployed according to the wishes of Golden Lion Shiki, and randomly broadcast the battles in various battlefields. Haha, Marine hasn't given up yet? After all, it is the trigger of today's big event. Let me give you little picture. Golden Lion Shiki chuckled and turned one of the image phone bugs to Marine to write about the day. Xiumigo, I'm very happy to see you again, but I still have things to do. Marshal Sengoku touched Rosinante's head apologetically. Dasenbai, do you really want to continue fighting? You should know that it will only increase casualties, Horizon said worriedly. I am Marshal Marine, and as long as I stay in this position for one day, I have my obligations. Marshal Sengoku spoke decisively. The same conversations happened everywhere on the battlefield. Under the organization of Marshal Sengoku and Vice Admiral Jujiura, the shattered Marine elite gradually gathered. 3 Marine Admiral Aokiji Kuzin, Kizaru Borusalino, and Actione Kozuki came from 3 directions. The 2 admiral candidates are Momosugi Giant, Ogado Cake, Elite Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel, Doberman, Kyosha-shan and so on. The senior combat forces of naval headquarters each led their troops and launched an encirclement against the Whitebeard pirates. The battle has reached this point, and Marine's side has a total combat strength of 100,000 and is unable to move, and there are still 60,000 left. In terms of numbers, Marine is still more than twice as many as the Whitebeard pirates, giving them an overwhelming advantage. Even so, the Whitebeard pirates still did not show any timidity or retreat. 4. Emperor's Whitebeard is in front, with 6 captains on both sides of him. Behind them are dozens of New World captains, including the Great Vortex Spider Skeward, the Ranger Dama, the Decalban Brothers, the Ice Witch Pei, and the Thunder King Maker Guy. In addition, there are nearly 20,000 Whitebeard pirates and New World pirate elites, all of whom are fighting with high spirits. Because, now they are not alone. There are also third-party reinforcements near them. The legendary Big Pirate, once the right hand of One Piece Pluton 3.9 Rayleigh, Ace's 2 brothers, Straw Hat Luffy and Revolutionary Army's second-in-command Sabo. There are also powerful girls from Fairy Tail leading Seraphim to help hold the battle. Not far away, the main force of Fairy Tail is on the way to destroy the world government. How could they lose this battle with the help of the godlike Fairy Tail? How could they lose? There is no possibility of losing at all. Chapter 312 A New Era led by Fairy Tail subscription. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield. The war between Fairy Tail and world government is in full swing. The other side. As the main force in the first half of today's big event, the total combat power of the Whitebeard pirates and Marine is also tense. Gudong tilde, Gudong Gudong tilde, Sizzle Sizzle tilde, Saibadi Islands, number 30 Mangrove, Live Plaza. The tens of thousands of Melaneators and reporters gathered here all stared wide-eyed and locked the big screen without blinking. The sound of swallowing saliva with difficulty and sucking in air conditioning came and went one after another. What will this war really be like? I thought it was just a war between Marine and Whitebeard pirates, but I didn't expect it to turn into such a terrible level in the end. I didn't expect it to turn into an all-out war between Fairy Tail and world government. Even if the world government has many shortcomings, we have to admit that the current balance of the sea is maintained by the world government. If the world government collapses, the world will fall into unprecedented chaos. Idiot. There is no new life without destruction. World government has occupied the whole world for too long. The noble celestial dragons of the world are the real source of evil. If the celestial dragons are not eliminated, the world will never have real peace. That's right. It's all because of the pig-like celestial dragons that forced many people to go to sea and become pirates. If everyone can live and work in peace and contentment, how many people will go to sea and become pirates? Hush. Hey. You are crazy. You can even say such words. What are you afraid of? The world government is already in jeopardy. I believe that Fairy Tail will be able to do it. That's right. The new era led by Fairy Tail must be the most beautiful era. When Fairy Tail brings down the world government, the number of pirates will definitely decrease. All over the square, people who eat melons are boldly discussing taboo topics. The nobles and rich people who are vested interests will naturally not seek change and support the world government. But, in this world, the civilians at the bottom always occupy the majority. What will become of the world? I don't have time to think about it now. All we can do is tell the world everything about this battlefield. Reporters from major news agencies kept writing down every detail of the war. Look, Marine and Whitebeard pirates are going to war again. Naval headquarters battlefield. Kula-la-la-la. Haven't you given up yet? Sengoku, you're so obsessed. 4. Emperor's Whitebeard laughed out loud. You are the one, Whitebeard. Don't think I don't know. You, the so-called strongest man in the world, is already at the end of his battle. Death in the singing world does not have no effect on you. Otherwise, you wouldn't kill Amy. A Blackbeard would take that much effort. Marshal Sengoku said firmly. Indeed, as you said, my body is not as good as before. But I can still do it with 1 or 2 admirals. For Emperor's Whitebeard grinned confidently. HMPH, what a shame. If you can do it, come and try. Admiral Actione snorted coldly, lava billowing all over his body. If Whitebeard is not enough, what about me? Rayleigh spoke lightly, and stepped forward. And us, Straw Hat Luffy, Sabo and the commanders of the Revolutionary Army also stepped forward together. Oh yeah, Pluton Rayleigh and the Revolutionary Army. This is really scary. Admiral Kizaru pouted as wretchedly as ever. Ah la la, what I want to know more is, Nico Robin, what is your position? Do you really want to be with Whitebeard, and we will not die? Admiral Aokiji's eyes fell on Robin. This should be my question. Are you Marine sure you want to fight our fairy tale 123? Robin asked back with a smile. La, Marine, are you scared? 4. Emperor's Whitebeard Haki stepped forward. Don't be afraid, and the little girl's a fairy tale. I am very grateful that you can come to help out, but it is enough to leave it to us. Yeah, Father was right. How can we let such beautiful girls rush ahead of us? Leave the charge to us. The girls just need to help us fight. The captains of the Baitune team headed by Marco responded one after another. Following the order of the 4 Emperors Whitebeard, all the Whitebeards charged. The all-out war between Marine and Whitebeard pirates. Restart. Robin, how do we sing? Both Nami and Vivi looked at the slightly older Robin. Carry out the original intention. Adapt to the situation. Minimize casualties on both sides. Chapter 313 The Iron Fist of Ice explodes. Ace was killed. Please subscribe. Marine and the Whitebeard pirates. The 2 protagonists of today's summit war. War ends. Restart. 4. Emperor's Whitebeard steeled himself, and the supreme sharp sword Kong Yunki was wrapped in the dazzling vibrating light waves and swung down towards the front. Snort. Marshal Sengoku snorted coldly and changed his mind. Zoan everyone's fruit Buddha form ability is activated. The golden Buddha rose against the storm on the battlefield. Buddha Sengoku's golden Buddha palm suddenly fell down. The terrifying giant Buddha shockwave spread out. A head-on collision with 4 Emperors Whitebeard's most powerful shockwave. The atmosphere was twisted by 2 powerful forces. A ray of light more dazzling than the sun bloomed. At the same time, it is accompanied by Ultimate's powerful shockwave. The soldiers of both Marines and pirates flew upside down. Whitebeard, you have really become weaker. If it were before, I wouldn't be able to fully catch your shock. Marshal Sengoku spoke. Don't use these little tricks now. No matter what you say, our determination and fighting spirit will not be affected. Let's see the real deal. 4 Emperors Whitebeard laughs. In that case, as you wish. Admiral Actione arrived carrying waves of magma. The dog bites the red lotus. The scorching magma dog head struck with explosive power. How can I let you hurt Dad again? Phoenix Marco, the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates' 1st Division, shouted firmly. A battle in the singing world. It was Admiral Actione's move that fatally injured Whitebeard. At that time, Marco failed to build Whitebeard's shield. But, do it again. Marco is determined not to let something like this happen again. Immortal Thistle. Marco transformed into a phoenix. The blue flames rotated and turned into a blue flame shield, blocking Admiral Actione's magma dog head. The other direction. Ice Cube. Violent pheasant mouth. Admiral Aokiji's right hand was like a knife, and he swung it down boldly. Click. Kaka. The big ice bird made entirely of ice shot out. Give it to me. Fire Fist Ace, the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates' 2nd Division, stepped forward to meet him. He was previously bound by Marine and couldn't do anything. But now, having been liberated, he naturally has to take the lead. Mirror Flame. Logia Mirror fruit is in full bloom. Endless flames surged out. A head-on collision with Admiral Aokiji's ice bird. The collision of flames and ice stirred up sheets of scorching water steam, covering all directions. Ace, watch out! Sabo suddenly screamed. Nani. Ace was suddenly startled. Although not as outstanding as Sabo in terms of knowledge and color, but he also felt the huge threat in the dark. Wow! A hole opens in the wall of steam. An ice fist trapped around ultimate armament Haki struck quickly. Today's war has developed to this point. Admiral Aokiji will not give up any more. Relying on the attributes of Mirror fruit, Ace was able to block his ice cube growl mouth. But, this blow. The ice gloves combine the Logia frozen fruit ability with the iron fist inherited from the hero Garp. Even Fire Fist Ace, the 2nd Division captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, can never stop him, because this is the strongest move that Admiral Aokiji has honed for countless days and nights, using warships as sandbags. Unstoppable. Ace is also very aware of this kind of thing. But now he has no way out. Fire Punch. Facing Admiral Aokiji's menacing ice gloves, Ace also waved his fist and fired a house of fire at full power. Raging, the overwhelming flaming fist swept out. However, it was violently torn apart by Admiral Aokiji's freezing fist style. The terrifying iron fist of ice penetrated the Fire Fist and hit Ace. In an instant, Fire Fist Ace's figure was like a cannonball, flying upside down with blood pouring from his mouth. Just one blow. Fire Fist Ace. Fire. Chapter 314 Aokiji defeats the hero Garp with one blow. Please subscribe. The Emperor of the Sea who reigns in the New World. Naval Headquarters highest strength admiral. Both of them are strong men standing at the top of the pyramid of the sea. There is a huge strength gap between the other powerful men in the sea and them. Among the Shikai Bukai, Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman except Bbook, can reach this level. There is a big gap between Shikibukai and Admiral and 4 Emperors. This is also true for the officers of the 4 Emperors group. Even the 5 Emperors Luffy, who will offer a reward of 1.5 billion 2 years later, facing 4 Emperors Kaido of the Beasts. He was killed instantly with one move. There is also Kid, who is rewarded with a bounty of 3 billion after defeating Ghost Island. He was also killed instantly by 4 Emperors red-haired Shanks' divine shot. Kizaru, the murderous warrior who was guarding him, also fell down, which shows how terrifying the 4 Emperors are. The same goes for Admiral, who can rival the 4 Emperors. There are currently 3 Marine Admirals, none of whom are ordinary. In addition to the terrifying ability of Logia Devil Fruit, which is as terrifying as a natural disaster, every Admiral is extremely skilled in taijutsu and haki, just like Admiral Aokiji in full swing right now. When he was young, before he had acquired the power of Logia, he worshipped the hero Garp. Follow Garp's lead and use warships as sandbags to hone your fists. Year after year, day after day, the sound of Admiral Aokiji hitting the sandbags on the warship was not much worse than Garp. He fully inherits the Iron Fist of the Marine hero. After this, Admiral Aokiji gains the Logia freezing ability. Combine Devil Fruit with Iron Fist. What was born was the strongest ice glove. This is Admiral Aokiji's Bbook strongest move. The Battle of Beehive Island 2 years after the original plotline, Admiral Aokiji even used this move to defeat his master marine hero Garp head-on. This shows how terrifying this attack is. It is definitely an instantaneous skill on the same level as Thunderate Trigrams and Divine Avoidance. In contrast, having become the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates at a young age, and possessing the ability of Logia Mera Fruit, Fire Fist Ace is definitely not weak in strength. Only, relying too much on the Mera Fruit ability and neglecting haki and the practice of this technique are Ace's biggest weaknesses. When Admiral Aokiji's Ice Gauntlet tore Ace's Fire Fist apart, the outcome was doomed. Under the overwhelming power of Admiral Aokiji, who was going all out, Fire Fist Ace was stopped. Ace, seeing Ace flying backwards and vomiting blood, Sabo and Straw Hat Luffy couldn't help but scream, "Ace! Captain Ace!" The people in the Whitebeard pirate group also looked panicked and lost their voices in shock. Ace. Captain Ace actually lost consciousness. How could such a thing happen? Ace is the captain of our 2nd division. What happened before? What did that Admiral Kizaru do? Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates shouted in disbelief. There was extreme shock and disbelief on every face. I can't believe that someone as strong as Ace was instantly killed by Admiral Aokiji in one blow. What happened before? That Admiral Aokiji. Why did I see the shadow of Grandpa in him? Straw Hat Luffy trembled, his body shaking slightly involuntarily. Kizaru Admiral Mighty. As expected of Mr. Kizaru. Did you see it? The Whitebeard pirates. This is our Marine's Admiral. It's time to wake up. It's you who should surrender. The elites on the Marine side cheered endlessly. Kizaru, well done. Marshal Sengoku nodded in approval. He actually knocked down the Fire Fist Ace with one blow. Did Aokiji still have any reservations when we were at Anai's lobby last time? Robin's pretty face couldn't help showing shock. No. It's not that he has reservations, but in front of the president, he didn't even have a chance to show it. Jujiura affirmed. Oh, Kizaru, has he shown his true skills? Then I will. In the sky, Admiral Kizaru raised his right hand. The bright golden laser light was condensed, aiming directly at the unconscious Fire Fist Ace and the Straw Hat Boy beside him. Chapter 315 Rayleigh fights Kizaru. Saboff's Aokiji. Saipadi Islands. Mangrove number 30. Live Square. Under the dedicated broadcast of outdoor anchor Golden Lion Shiki, the tens of thousands of reporters and spectators gathered here were able to see a major event on the battlefield. Marine and the Whitebeard pirates are at war again. Marshal Sengoku transforms into a giant Buddha and confronts 4 Emperors Whitebeard. The collision between the shockwave and the giant Buddha's shockwave is so powerful! What a pity. Kozuki Admiral's attack was blocked by the Phoenix Marco. On the other side, Aokiji Admiral's attack was also blocked by the Fire Fist Ace of the 2nd team. Freezing versus burning, the attributes are inferior. People in the live broadcast square couldn't help but shake their heads. Just the next second. It's not over yet. A reporter suddenly shouted. This. Kizaru Admiral defeated Fire Fist Ace. Wow! The huge live broadcast square resounded with soaring noises. It's true. Fire Fist Ace fell. Awesome. Kizaru Admiral is so awesome. Ha. This is the true strength of Admiral of Headquarters. How can the officers of the 4 Emperors Regiment alone really stop dancing? The only ones who can rival Admiral are the 4 Emperors. All the people gathered in the square cheered excitedly. The other side. High in the square. Hey, are you kidding? That Fire Fist Ace was instantly killed by Admiral Aokiji with one punch. Captain Capone of the Flame Tank Pirates shook his head in disbelief. After all, that Fire Fist is also the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. His strength is beyond doubt. In addition, he is a Logia user. He has an absolute advantage in attributes against Admiral Aokiji, who is also a Logia. Sky Island monk Aerous also looked shocked. Is it because the old injuries have not healed? In addition, during the past few days of being detained in Impel Down, I have suffered all kinds of inhuman torture, which has led to a serious physical condition. Corrupted Marine Rear Admiral Drake secretly guessed. No. Maybe there is another possibility. Killer Warrior Kira shook his head. Then Admiral is too strong. Hawkins, the magician and half-immortal magician, spoke faintly. Having experienced the Celestial Dragon's incident in Sepadi 10 days ago, they are most aware of the horror of Admiral. In the face of Admiral's overwhelming power, they had no power to fight back. Although it was not Aokiji who came 10 days ago, it was Kizaru. But a peek at Madara reveals the whole story. Admiral Kizaru is so terrifying, Admiral Aokiji must not be far behind. The previous attack was Admiral Aokiji's full strength. Captain Asta's kid said quietly, that Kizaru is moving. Are you planning to kill Firefist Ace and Straw Hat secretly? Please give me flowers. Seeming Skulakumanap laughed. Naval Headquarters, on top of the battlefield. A comprehensive battlefield between Whitebeard and Marine. After Admiral Aokiji's domineering attack, the sky flashed with golden light. Admiral Kizaru took action quietly. The target is the chaotic Whitebeard pirates. He wanted to take advantage of the chaos to take down the heads of Firefist Ace and Straw Hat Boy. Seeing the terrifying laser about to explode, the next second, swish, the harsh sound of breaking wind sounded on the battlefield. I won't let you do anything to the flowers of the new era, Kizaru. Pluton Rayleigh rose into the air and kicked Admiral Kizaru's hand away. Whoosh, boom. The terrifying laser beam deviated from its path and exploded with dazzling flames in an empty place. Nani. Sabo was shocked. Previously it was because of confusion and worry. Even he lost his usual calmness. Moi, cover Race and the others. Learn. The commander of the Western Army of the Revolutionary Army, the giant human demon Mori took command. He immediately shook the trident in his hand and raised the ground. With the ability of Paramecia to push the fruit, she quickly hid Ace, Luffy and the ship's doctor underground. Leave the revenge of my useless brother to me. Sabo's hands turned into dragon claws and came to Admiral Aokiji. Chapter 316 Straw Hat joins the battle. Jinbai turns Akaine into a drowned dog. Dragon Claw Fist. Sabo, the young chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, launched an offensive against Admiral Aokiji. Are you trying to get things back for your brothers? I just hope we don't end up with the same ending. Admiral Aokiji spoke lazily. The fist entwined with ice and haki easily blocked Sabo's Dragon Claw Fist. But if you want to kill him with one blow like before, you can't do it. After all, Sabo is a master of physical arts unlike Ace who relies on Logia's abilities. After many years of training in the Revolutionary Army, 860 has achieved a lot in armament haki. But, even if he can't kill him instantly with one hit, Aokiji is confident that he can take down Sabo because he is one of the highest combat talents in naval headquarters. The extremely cold air was released, slowly freezing Sabo's fist that was in direct contact with him. Sabo's expression changed and he was about to take action. The next second, an angry voice sounded. Enter second gear, rubber jet pistol. Straw Hat Luffy attacks with anger. A fist that was almost invisible to the naked eye struck Admiral Aokiji. Kaka, boom. Admiral Aokiji's body was shattered on the spot. The ice fragments scattered in all directions, and finally regrouped not far away. Brothers. Do you want to go into battle together? This is really a little tricky, Admiral Aokiji said lazily. Kyuzin, if you think it's more difficult on your side, how about we exchange it on another battlefield? Admiral Kizaru curled his lips and suggested. Well, it's better to ship it. Admiral Aokiji decisively refused. Compared to Pluton Rayleigh, after all, Sabo and Straw Hat Luffy are easier to deal with. Sabo, we are here to help too. Confederate Army Captain Lindbergh flew over. The other party is the Admiral of Headquarters. No matter how cautious you are. The commander of the Northern Army, Karas, the user with Logia Coal Fruit ability, said solemnly. Sabo didn't refuse. After all, Ace has learned from the past. Naturally, he would not take it lightly. In addition, even his younger brother Luffy is now participating in the war. Sabo understands his brother's mood and really can't say anything to make him watch the battle. With Lindbergh and Karas helping out, Luffy can be better protected. It's really getting tricky this time. Admiral Aokiji's voice is as lazy as ever. In that case, let me help out. The Marine Admiral candidate Dolphin arrived on Moonwalk. Don't think there is no one here. Diamond Josie, the captain of the 3rd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, charged towards him, knocking him away. Originally, he wanted to take over Ace and face Aokiji. But now that Sabo and others are taking over, he will naturally not fight for it. Marine Momousagi Vice Admiral, there are not many beautiful and powerful swordsmen like you in this sea. Let me teach you. The captain of the 5th Squad, Foil Beaster, stopped Admiral Momousagi Jian, a backup who wanted to support Aokiji, in advance. The two great swordsmen immediately fought together, and the people who saw the gorgeous sword skills were dazzled. Other White Division captains and a group of New World captains also mingle with the elites of naval headquarters, and are inseparable. The war situation instantly fell into a white-hot stalemate. Compared with other battlefields, the most dangerous one is naturally the battlefield between Captain Marco and Admiral Akainu. Izo, captain of the 6th Division, and Kirill, captain of the 10-man team, help out. But, facing the ferocious Admiral Akainu, the squad captains alone are still powerless. You bastards, please get out of my way. Admiral Akainu shouted loudly and swept the magma fist. Seeing that Admiral Akainu is about to form an encirclement with Marshal Sengoku against Whitebeard, the next second, cemetery. Without warning, Crescent Bay, the seawater surges crazily. Mloculant Jujitsu, Shuixin throws him over the shoulder. Wow tilde. The terrifying wave of seawater rose into the sky, pouring all over Admiral Akainu, stirring up countless hot water vapor. How about lowering the heat a bit? Admiral Akainu. Shikibukai Kaksia Jinbai said. Chapter 317. The Pirate Empress wants to join Fairy Tail. Too much anger can easily harm the body, so let's cool down a little. Admiral Akainu. In the bay, Jinbai spoke calmly. Well done, Jinren. It's such a big help. Ha ha ha. The red dog was turned into a drowned rat by Jinbai. No, it should be a drowned dog. Is this cold bath pleasant? Admiral Red Dog. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates sneered wantonly. Jinbai. Admiral Akainu looked at Jinbai coldly. Are you going to completely abandon your position as Shikibukai and become our enemy? From the moment you launched this meaningless war, the decision was made to lose the map. Jinbai said firmly. Damn Jinbai. Oh wait. How dare you betray us? Shikibukai should be balanced by Shikibukai. Where are the other Shikibukai? Come quickly and get rid of Jinbai. Everyone on Marine's side yelled in shock and anger. However, but didn't get any response. Not to mention that Shikibukai simply won't listen to their orders. Even if they are willing to obey, no Shikibukai is available to help now. Clang clang clang. Swords clash. Iron is attached to the boy. It was Bbook, the world's greatest swordsman, fighting against his son Seraph Shulk. Now Urza is at war with the world government. With nothing to do, Bbook decided to practice with his son. Let's see how far the swordsmanship of this artificial man with its own blood factor can reach. The other side, Shikibukai Pirate Empress Boa Hancock is also busy facing Seraph Snake at the moment. The arrogant Pirate Empress simply cannot tolerate anyone sharing her beauty in this world. Intolerable. For some reason, Boa Hancock did not take action against the Seraph Snake. The two sides entered a stalemate stage with big E's staring at each other. Pirate Empress Boa Hancock, what do you want to do? If you want to fight, I will fight until the end. I am not afraid of you. Bonnie came with a patriarchal tyrant bear and looked at the Empress Boa Hancock with an unfriendly expression. The experience of Nine Snake Island was still vivid in my mind. Erudia, who was like a mother, was turned to stone to protect her. Thinking about it to this day, Bonnie still has lingering fears. He simply couldn't imagine that Erudia would never be able to change back. Therefore, Bonnie was hostile to the Pirate Empress Boa Hancock from the beginning. Dad, be careful, don't be charmed by this woman, she will be petrified. Bonnie reminded. Will not. Tyrant Bear spoke gently. Are you the daughter of Tyrant Bear? Boa Hancock spoke calmly. None of your business. Bonnie responded unceremoniously. If it were before, Empress Hancock would have been furious if someone spoke to her in this tone. But, today, unexpected, the Pirate Empress Boa Hancock showed no signs of getting angry. Fairy Tail is indeed a good guild. If it were you, I and Nine Snakes wouldn't mind joining. The Pirate Empress Boa Hancock spoke with a cold expression. Aha! Bonnie was taken aback for a moment, and then a ghost-like unbelievable expression appeared on his pretty face. Pirate Empress Boa Hancock, what kind of medicine are you selling in this gourd? A year ago, the president personally invited you. But you. Bonnie puffed up his mouth angrily. After all, I am the lord of a country. Any decision must be carefully considered and I am responsible for the people. Boa Hancock said seriously. So you've been thinking about it for a whole year? It's been a long time. Bonnie pouted. You want to join us? I said it doesn't count. You can ask the president yourself. Chapter 318 Vivi Nami Robin vs Crocodile. Please subscribe. Naval Headquarters, the melee is in full swing. Damn it, Hawkeye, the Pirate Empress, and these Shikibukai are all acting arbitrarily, and none of them can be used. Speaking of which, that guy Morio actually. Is he trying to rebel? Seeing Shikibukai Morio taking action against Marine, the elite Vice Admiral Doberman could not help but feel his veins twitching wildly. Master Morio. Princess Mononoke Perona opened her big watery eyes with tears rolling down her face. Don't cry, Perona, I've dealt with all the guys who bullied you. Morio was at a loss to comfort the crying Perona. Although he said harsh words before, he didn't want Perona to continue to have anything to do with him. But seeing Perona being targeted by Marine and government officials, Moria couldn't help but take action. Lord Moria is an idiot. Perona raised her pink fist and beat Moria coquettishly. All the fairy tale girls smiled knowingly. Okay, let's get started. Vivi looked seriously at the original Shikibukai crocodile not far away in front of her. Last time, you were dealt with by the president in a few seconds. This time, the president is busy and has no time to pay attention to you, so it is up to us to take action. Jujiura said seriously. I will never let you go back to Vivi's country and do whatever you want. Nami spoke firmly. That's pretty much it. Robin smiled slightly. Sorry, boss. Little Lily Miss Golden Week said calmly. Except Suyu and Urza. The original crew of the Alabaster incident gathered here. Snort. Crocodile snorted. This time he escaped from prison with Blackbeard and came to this battlefield. The purpose was to obtain a head of 4 emperors. Whitebeard did not expect. They are just a bunch of young girls. Do you really think you can beat me? Crocodile said coldly. You'll know right away whether you can win or not. Jujiura waved her hand. Each water mass is generated out of thin air. Add water buff to Nami, Vivi and Robin. Crocodile, I will definitely defeat you with my own hands this time. Vivi said firmly. If you can do it, come and try it. Crocodile's arm suddenly turned into sand, and he took the lead in attacking the fairy tale girl. Desert Diamond Sword. Boom. The terrifying sand knife rushed out and swept across the battlefield, leaving a deep ravine. Earth waves. Nami entered the Taurus Star Spirit clothes, waved her long whip, and created an invisible wave to intercept. At the same time, Robin waved his hand. The magic of wood activates. Join forces with Nami to defeat Crocodile's attack. Shalan. Crocodile strikes again. With a wave of his hand, a huge tornado was formed out of thin air and swept towards the girls. Just when Crocodile thought that his sandstorm could somewhat stop the fairy tale girls, when he was able to get some time to think about his retreat. However, the next second, Dao suddenly passed through the terrifying sand tornado. That's Vivi entering the form of the Scorpio Star Spirit clothes. Nani. Crocodile was surprised. Magic light shines. Vivi transforms into a Sagittarius Star Spirit garment. Star shooting. Burst. Boom. Rumble. Explosions broke out. Amazing. Saipadi Islands. Live Square. The tens of thousands of reporters and Melanitas gathered here could not help but marvel. You are truly worthy of the girls of fairy tale. No matter what you say, it's still Shikibukai crocodile. Lilia, how it actually left that crocodile almost powerless to fight back. Compared to anything else, what I care about more is the king of power used by fairy tale. In fact, after watching it, I am even more sure that it is definitely not Devil Fruit's ability, it is more like magic. Wow. As soon as these words came out, the whole audience was in an uproar. After all, magic is too dreamy. Just when people are still immersed in shock, one of the 3 live broadcast screens suddenly changed. Look. Is there going to be a winner between the Rock Jujiura and the giant wolf Fenrir? Chapter 319 Holy Jujiura. Shake the Rich Prison. Naval headquarters, on top of the battlefield, is in full bloom, with fierce fighting all over the place. Some battlefields in various places have fallen into a fierce stalemate, while others are already coming to an end. Fairy Tale's S-Class Magi Waitgura vs. God's Knight Giant Wolf Fenrir. Facing Fenrir's stormy onslaught, Jura was just calm from the beginning to the end. Strictly guard against death. Attack steadily and do not give the enemy any opportunity to take advantage of it. Ha 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 ha. What's wrong? What's wrong? You can't win by just defending. Or do you want to hold on until your partner takes a hand to help? The god knight who entered Fenrir's werewolf form laughed wantonly. In the form of an orc, he firmly believes that 480 makes me invincible. Although it does not have a huge body shape in a complete beast form. But Fenrir's strength remains undiminished in his werewolf form. At the same time, it also possesses terrifying speed beyond imagination. At first glance, there seem to be 3 Fenrir werewolves existing in the battlefield at the same time. This is exactly the after-image clone brought about by his ultimate speed. It is also the proud weapon of Fenrir werewolf. With this hand, the enemy often cannot tell which one is the real clone. Are you very troubled now? Which one is my real body? Let me tell you. These 3 of me are all real, but at the same time, none of them are real. Fenrir werewolf smiled triumphantly. Are these all your last words? Julu asked calmly. Nani. Fenrir werewolf's expression darkened, and he was about to continue taunting. I've learned a lot about your methods. Now it's time to end the battle. Jula spoke again, with strong confidence in his calm words. Ha ha. What nonsense are you talking about? You have been suppressed by me from the beginning and can't even fight back. But now, you still dare to say such arrogant things. Fenrir werewolf had an expression on his face as if he had just heard the funniest joke in the world. Really speaking, this is my first battle as a member of Fairy Tail since I came here. I must not disappoint the new president, Jula said, minding his own business. It's getting more and more unpleasant. How can a guy like you be my opponent? Fenrir the werewolf transformed into a giant wolf form. Bath tries to intimidate Jura with his tall body and put pressure on him. Are you trying to make it so big because you're worried that I won't be able to hit it? This is so thoughtful. Jula smiled slightly. The moment when hands are folded, dozens or hundreds of sharp stone pillars shot up from the ground. The body of the giant wolf Fenrir was tightly trapped from all directions. The next second, giant rock fists rose up one after another, hitting the giant wolf Fenrir hard. Ouch. The giant wolf Fenrir screamed in pain. Don't get carried away. He opened his bloody mouth, and the terrifying freezing energy began to brew. Rock Mountain, Jujiura spoke calmly. Boom. A large mountain shaped like a god of war rose from the ground, blocking the energy light waves of the giant wolf Fenrir. At the same time, Gasho, Iwatite powder explodes. Boom. Rumble. Rocks as hard as steel rose from the ground, sending the giant wolf Fenrir flying into the sky. Damn it! The giant wolf Fenrir roared angrily, transformed again and returned to werewolf form. Don't think you can easily hit me next. You will never be able to keep up with me at your speed. Fenrir werewolf said coldly. Maybe that's true. Speed is not my specialty, but I don't need to be able to catch up with your speed. Jujiura said calmly. Aha! Don't wait for Fenrir werewolf to say anything. The next second, boom, rumble. The terrifying pressure covered all sides. Ming, Dong, Fu, Jail. Chapter 320 Planetary Devastation. The Knights of God are defeated. Jujiura. In fairy tale itself, he is the absolute elite ace of the Snake Princess Scale Guild, and one of the top 10 magicians of the Holy Saints. 7 years after the Tenru Island incident, his ranking among the Holy 10 reached 5th place, second only to Ishgar or Uranus. Fairy tale President Makarov believes that he has the possibility to compete with Gildatz, the strongest magician among humans. His strength can be seen in Madara, and only inhuman monsters have the strength to defeat him. With Jujiura's strength, coming to the world of pirates, he is definitely one of the top combat powers in the pyramid. Of course, he is not invincible, and there are indeed many people in the pirate world who are stronger than him. But the giant wolf Fenrir Knight in front of him is obviously not in this category. Boom, rumble. Under the power of Jujiura's ringing in the rich prison, the ground on the battlefield shook violently involuntarily. Ultimate's powerful magic pressure envelopes this battlefield. The face of Fenrir Werewolf Knight immediately changed. It's just a dumbfounding effort. The huge stone hand suddenly pressed down and fell. Bind the Fenrir Werewolf Knight firmly. That was the big hand that Aoyama, who switched to offensive mode, defeated. The Fenrir Werewolf Knight struggled violently. However, it was unable to shake the big hand at all. Under the reinforcement of magic power, the hardness of this hand is even higher than that of steel. Damn it, let me go quickly. Bastard, do you know who I am? Fenrir Werewolf's harsh words caused the second big hand to fall down, followed by the third and fourth. One big hand after another surrounded Fenrir Werewolves. In the end, it turned into a huge stone ball with a radius of 100 meters, just like the planetary devastation in the Aokiji world next door. But Jujiura's move is not for ceiling. Next moment, under the shocked eyes of people inside and outside the battlefield, the huge stone ball shone brightly, and the entire sphere trembled violently. At the moment when Jujiura clasped his hands together, the huge stone ball exploded like a giant bomb. Countless broken stones rustled down. Fenrir Werewolf fell at the same time. At this moment, the arrogant man has rolled his eyes and completely lost consciousness. World Government and Fairy Tale, the first battle of Total War. Jujiura versus the Knight of God. Winner, Jujiura. Sapadi Islands. Number 30 Red Tree, Live Square. Oh, it's amazing. Jujiura, this strength is indeed extraordinary. The phantom beasts in Zoan are extremely powerful both in terms of defense and recovery, but please give me flowers. 0. The phantom beast user of the world government was defeated by the Jujiura. Undoubtedly, it is at the level of the general. Jujiura is also in existence that can rival Admiral. The tens of thousands of journalists and Melanitas gathered in the square were all shocked and disgusted. Naval headquarters, atop the battlefield. 1. As expected of Uncle Jujiura. The bearded man is amazing. It's so reliable to have such a strong person as our partner. All the fairy tale girls couldn't help cheering. As expected of Mr. Jujiura, I can't be too far behind. The next step is to make a quick decision. Fairy Queen Erza said seriously. Quick's battle? Are you talking in your sleep? Who do you think you are talking to? I won't be as easy to deal with as that stupid wolf. The Phantom Beast Worldly Python Knight transformed into the strongest Phantom Beast Python man form. Kang, the half-human, half-snake knight of the giant python drew out the two scimitars from his waist with his backhand. The blade of the scimitar shone with a faint purple light, obviously heavy. Be careful. My knife is smeared with poison that kills on touch. The Udman's Python Knight gave a sinister smile. While speaking, he stretched out the snake letter, licked on the blade of the scimitar. Chapter 321 Fairy Armor. Demon Sword Red Sura. Naval Headquarters, on top of the battlefield. This knife of mine is tempered with strong poison. As the World Government Python Knight spoke, he spit out the serpentine and licked it on the blade. Time stood still at this moment. The next second, a proud smile appeared on the face of the Python Knight. How is it? Are you disappointed? Do you think I will be stupid enough to be poisoned by the poison on my own knife? The answer is of course no. This is my poison. How could it work on me? The Python Knight looked smug, ready to appreciate Erza's disappointed expression. However, much to his dismay, from beginning to end, the expression on Erza's face didn't change at all. This is a boring trick. Let's end it quickly. Erza said calmly. Nani. The Python Knight's face suddenly darkened. Okay. Since you want to die so much, then as you wish. The giant Python Knight's snake tail swung, and his figure was like a ghost, approaching Urza. When the sound of gold and iron clashing exploded, the Python Knight's swords clashed with Urza's fairy swords. Even Urza couldn't help but retreat due to the huge power. What's wrong? Isn't this your strongest armor? Is this the only thing you can do? Monty Python Knight sneered and taunted again and again. You'll find out soon enough. Urza's expression remained calm as usual, until now, when fighting against the Monty Python Knight. She has never used the true power of the fairy armor, just wrapped the armament haki around the sword. Urza, who has not yet reached the peak of armament haki, has a hard time breaking through defenses against thick-skinned fantasy beast users. This also caused the Python Knight to be so arrogant. Facing Urza's another slash, he didn't panic at all, just sneered and prepared to take the attack. However, just when the fairy sword was only the last meter away from him, without warning, magical energy explodes. The originally ordinary sword instantly turned into a terrifying light cannon. By the time Monty Python Knight realized something was wrong, it was already too late. The terrifying energy light cannon cut off the scimitar in his hand. At the same time, one of his arms was cut off. A scream as loud as a slaughtered pig rang out. Damn it! You deserve to die. The Python Knight cursed angrily and transformed into an earthly python, trying to suppress it with his size. However, at this moment, the defense of the phantom beast species that he was proud of, it has no effect at all in front of the fairy armor with full firepower. Boom boom boom. Terrifying light cannons were fired one after another. Beat the worldly python full of holes. The Python Knight, who was completely beaten in his beast form, had to change his strategy and return to his human animal form. A pair of cold vertical pupils stared at Urza. When he opened his mouth, dark purple poisonous mist filled the air. It's almost over. Urza spoke calmly. Dress up. The light of magic flickers. Fairy armor recycling. What appeared instead was a minimalist model wearing a bra wrap. Urza took a deep breath and slowly raised Sura, the demon sword. The next second, the atmosphere crackled with a harsh crackle. In an instant, Urza and the Python Knight passed by each other. Time seemed to freeze at this moment. The next second, Kang, another scimitar of the Python Knight broke. Poof! A ball of dazzling blood exploded in front of him. A long and narrow wound started from his shoulder and extended to his abdomen. Through the wound, you can vaguely see the white bones and beating internal organs. Snap. 4.0 Monty Python Knight fell to the ground. The outcome has been decided. However, just the next second, Urza's body suddenly shook. The delicate body knelt down on one knee uncontrollably. He. Don't underestimate the mortal python. My toxin does not need to cause wounds. Even if it is only exposed to the toxic air, it will penetrate along the skin. If you can always wear the previous armor, maybe you won't be like this. It will work soon, but you will also be buried with me. The Python Knight fell down with a proud look on his face. Chapter 322, Irene's number 1. Wendy's boss mode. Sapadi Islands. Mangrove number 30. Live Square. Awesome. She truly deserves to be the Fairy Queen. Following Iwaura, Fairy Queen Urza also ended the battle. The Zoan snake fruit phantom beast species with the ability to form an earthly giant python was crushed and knocked down. This is the first time I've seen the Fairy Queen fight with my own eyes. It's even more awesome than the rumors say. The reporters and fans who gathered here were all amazed and were completely fascinated by Urza's power and beauty. However, the next second, something unexpected happens. Urza, who had defeated the Python Knight, suddenly staggered and fell to one knee. Is that a poisoning reaction? Capone, captain of the flame tank pirates, narrowed his eyes. 14 Yes, it must be poisoning. Sky Island Monkero Uj nodded. As expected of a phantom beast capable user of the Knights of God, he is really hard to guard against. Kira, the killing warrior, looked solemn. Naval headquarters, on top of the battlefield. Regarding the changes in Urza, people on all sides of the battlefield also have differences. Wow, something bad has happened. Miss Urza has been poisoned. What should I do? What should I do? Rebecca said anxiously. It's just a strong poison, no big deal. Urza waved her hand. However, foam had already begun to form at the corners of his mouth. This is not okay at all. Khalifa couldn't help but complain. Even Urza is ... What a powerful poison it is. If it doesn't get rid of it quickly, something bad will happen. At this moment, Suyu and the Five Elders battlefield. Kid, your woman has fallen. Are you sure you don't want to go and see her? Maybe this is the last time we see her. Jupiter Five Elders Pit said coldly. I don't need you to worry about it. Our fairy tale girls are all very lucky. Instead of worrying about Urza, it's better to worry about yourselves first. Suyu smiled slightly. Damn you brat, don't think we are really afraid of you. Venus Five Elders Nero transformed into a ferocious Yaksha. The other side. The battlefield between Wendy and the Knight of God. Whoa, what should I do? What should I do? Urza is poisoned. I have to get there quickly. Unable to take care of both sides, Wendy fell into chaos. Wendy, danger. The little white cat Xialulu shouted nervously as a reminder. While Wendy was in chaos, her opponent took the opportunity to rise up. Seeing that Wendy was about to be attacked, the next second, wow! A powerful aura exploded from Wendy's body. The terrifying wind pressure naturally blew away the Knight of God who was sneaking up on him. The Secret of Dragon Slaying 1. Irene, the Dragon Mother numbered Wendy, raised her little hand and looked at the Knight of God in front of her with indifferent gaze. Wow! Everything in the world falls into the little hands of Wendy. The secret of dragon slaying magic in the sky, explode, with just one move. The Knight of God was defeated. Awesome. Wendy's boss mode is online. The little white cats Kizaru, Nami, Vivi and others were all amazed. Cemetery. Wendy was excited. Wow, what should I do? 540. How? It's okay, Wendy, your opponent has been dealt with. The little white cat Kizaru reminded her helplessly as always. Huh? Really? Wendy's eyes lit up in surprise. No, now is not the time to talk about this, Kizaru. Hurry up and go to Urza. After a while, Wendy came to Urza's side. Sky healing magic activates. It didn't take long for the toxins in Urza's body to be removed. That's very helpful, Wendy. Urza thanked her. No. Wendy waved her hands quickly. What a reliable little girl. Then, I can't take my time anymore. The blind swordsman smiled slightly. Paramecia's heavy fruits are on full fire. Chapter 323. Gravity Sword Tiger. Demon Shutley. Saibadi's Island live broadcast in the square, and there was an uproar. What's going on? What happened before? The little girl who uses the power of wind seems to be the witch Wen in the sky. It was clear that he was on par with that Knight of God just now, and he was even faintly suppressed. How come it's like a different person all of a sudden, raising his hand and killing the Knight of God instantly? The tens of thousands of reporters and spectators gathered in the square were shocked and in an uproar. I know this. Little Wendy, the Maiko of the sky, is the one who hides the most in fairy tale. A member of the World Economic News shouted excitedly. Previously, it was Wendy-chan's mysterious boss mode. It would automatically turn on at critical moments and kill everything instantly. Mystery? Boss? People in the square looked at each other in confusion, completely unable to understand. Look. The other battlefields have also decided the winner one after another. Wow! Naval headquarters, on top of the battlefield. Your Excellency Jilla and the little girls have worked so hard, and nothing can be left behind. The blind swordsman smiled slightly. Ha, old blind man, what are you talking about? The Knight of God who was confronting Yaksha's sneer suddenly stopped before he could even leave his mouth. Boom, rumble. The unparalleled terrifying gravity came and bent the waist of the Knight of God. The blind swordsman smiled and held his sword in his back, waving it gently in front of him. Gravity knife, tiger. Ho. It's like the king of beasts is roaring in the dark. Boom, rumble. The Knight of God flew hundreds or thousands of meters upside down. He was completely defeated on the spot by the terrifying gravity tiger. The other side. Sky battlefield. Griffin, the king of the sky with the body of a griffin, and Mirror Jane in the devil form constantly intersect and collide. The scarlet rays and the dark magic flow collided and conflicted with each other, exploding into a gorgeous firework. Among the Knights of God, the strength of the phantom beast Griffin Knight ranks at the forefront. Not only does it have powerful offense and defense, but the wings on its back give it the power to dominate the sky. Even in the form of a demon, Myra cannot be taken down by time. Is there nothing we can do now? The Griffin Knight, who transformed into the strongest human animal form, held a broadsword and sneered again and again. No, I'm just thinking that it's almost time to end. Mirror Jane smiled. What an arrogant woman, but I don't hate it. After I capture you, I will love you very much. The corner of the Griffin Knight's mouth raised a ferocious arc. However, just 1 second. The smile on his face froze. What emerged instead was extreme shock and disbelief. Boom, rumble. The whole sky was trembling at this moment. Unparalleled terrifying pressure descended. All because of Mirror Jane's transformation. Her ears and chin will be wrapped in golden protective armor. The long, white hair becomes thicker and more fluffy. Wearing dark blue clothes that looked like a demon. The black cloak rustled in the wind. Full body reception. Majin Shuttry. Mirror Jane, the S-class mage from Fairy Tale, has the strongest magic, Lanos, explosion. Compared to Satan's soul, Demon Shuttry is superior in every aspect. No. Even before the battle started, the Griffin Knight knew that he could not defeat the demon in front of him. Every cell in the body is resisting the fight. The moment he felt flinching, the outcome of this battle was already determined. Boom. In the terrifying dark madness of Demon Shuttry, the Griffin Knight was defeated. Chapter 324. For Emperorsbigmom's destiny becomes stronger! Please subscribe. It's amazing. This is really too strong. 2 more god knights were killed by Fairy Tale. The blind swordsman smiled. I have heard rumors about him. Legend has it that he has power that is not inferior to the Admiral, the highest combat power in the naval headquarters. Now that I see it, it turns out that what I said is true, and it's even better than this. And that demon Mirror Jane, who is usually so gentle and sweet, didn't expect that the fight would be so fierce. You are worthy of the name of a demon, and the new form from before is something that the information does not have. What kind of monsters of Fairy Tale? Almost all of them won without any injuries. At Saibadi's Udao live broadcast plaza, The 6.87 million reporters and Melaneaters gathered here were all shocked and yelled, "Fairy Tail is simply a gathering place for monsters. I really don't know where that 4 Emperor's Sunning found so many powerful and beautiful girls." Supernova Skillichmanap curled his lips in envy. No. Maybe those girls were not strong to begin with, but they only became stronger in a short period of time after joining Fairy Tail. Captain Caponebig of the Flame Tank Pirates said. Indeed, so far, we still don't know what kind of power Fairy Tail uses. Those special powers are more like fantasy magic than devil fruit abilities. Jib, Sky Island Strange Monkey or Uj said. If you want to know the truth, I'm afraid you can only know it after joining Fairy Tail. Corrupted Marine Rear Admiral Drake said. Hey, compared to other people, I care more about the resurrected dead. I originally thought that they could never be their true bodies, but Captain Kidd's eyes widened with a ghostly expression on his face. Is it true that one person fought against an Imperial group? Killing Warrior Kira was also stunned on the spot. At this moment, Naval Headquarters, Top Battlefield, East Battlefield. Represented in history and memory, Rox, the returning Overlord of the Sea, becomes more and more courageous as he fights. One person fought against the whole group of Bigmoms headed by 4 Emperorsbigmom, and did not fall behind at all. Every time he swings his sword, he will randomly take away several ministers or cadres of the Big Mom pirates. If it weren't for the fact that Charlotte Category was there to command the overall situation and help with defense, I am afraid that the Big Mom pirates have already suffered heavy casualties. Ha 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 ha, Lin, aren't you considering surrendering? If you are still stubborn, I won't be merciful anymore. Rox, the Overlord of the Sea, grinned ferociously. Are you kidding, Rox? How can you be so strong as an undead? 4 Emperorsbigmom. Charlotte Linlin screamed hysterically. She originally thought that Rox's strength was only a short-term amplification effect. But, so far in the battle, Rox has shown no signs of weakening, but has become more and more courageous as he fights. This reminded her of the past 36 years ago. The undead Rox in front of him seemed to be the peak of his true form. This is also a matter of course. The strength of the undead manifested by the corpse's history is determined by the magic power of the caster. Compared to the 12-shield Nainhut in the Fairy Tale world, Suyu is more than 100 times more powerful. The undead manifested by him naturally inherited his power. Linlin, surrender. As long as you swear to surrender to President Suyu, I will spare your life. Rox reminded kindly. Don't underestimate 4 emperors. 4 Emperorsbigmom said coldly. Then do this, because the opponent is you, Rox. So it's worth it for me to do this. It will consume 1 year of my life in exchange for stronger power. This is the only way I can become stronger. Chapter 325 Overlord Rox defeats 4 Emperorsbigmom. Naval Headquarters. 4 Emperors and Overlord Battlefield. Well, this is the only way to make me stronger, because the opponent is you, so it's worth it, Rox. 4 Emperorsbigmom. Charlotte Linlin laughed confidently. Paramecia Soul Fruit Secret Skill, activate. At the cost of 1 year's life, he gets a bigger body and stronger strength. Mom is getting serious. This is the sacrifice of the soul fruit. By consuming 1 year of life, my mother's strength will be upgraded. This is my mother's secret trick. Once this trick is used, it will be completely stable. No one can win the gigantic Mum. Prospero, Owen, Defu, Baron Dendon and other Bigmom ministers and cadres shouted excitedly one after another. The result of the battle has not yet come out, and it has not even started yet. They have already started to open the champagne in advance. You make yourself stronger by consuming your lifespan. After all these years, Linlin, you really haven't made any progress at all. Ocean Overlord Rox shook his head in disappointment. Stop being so self-righteous. It's no longer your time now, Rox. The huge 4 Emperorsbigmom. Charlotte Linlin's confidence greatly increased. Napoleon, Zeus, Prometheus. 4 emperors aunt shouted sharply. Yes, Mum. With the order of 4 Emperorsbigmom. 3 major Homitz weapons, combined. Light cannon. 4 Emperorsbigmom brandished his sword brazenly. The 3-in-1 Homitz blade shines brightly. A terrifying laser shot towards Rox, the Overlord of the Sea. Rox does not dodge, but strikes with Conqueror's lightning-coated sword. Boom. The terrifying shockwave dispersed 4 Emperorsbigmom's laser. I should have told you, Linlin, that devil fruit ability is only secondary. The real power is Haki. Rox, the Overlord of the Sea, grinned. Stop blabbering. No matter its ability or Haki, as long as it can kill the enemy. 4 Emperorsbigmom holds the knife with both hands and spins it to launch a new ultimate move. Mother's visiting cannon. 3,000 miles. A huge mother creature with a body made of lightning and hair made of flames was created out of thin air. Kill him. 3,000 miles away. Yes, Mum. With the order of 4 Emperorsbigmom, the huge thunder and lightning creature responded and headed towards the Sea Overlord Rox to kill the doctor. How could something like this be effective on me? The Overlord of the Sea Rox Haki keeps drinking. Don't dodge or evade, and meet the monster 3,000 miles away. It was only a breathless time before and after. 4 Emperorsbigmom's ultimate move was torn into pieces 3,000 miles away. The next second, before 4 Emperorsbigmom could react, Please give me flowers. Rox, The Overlord of the Sea suddenly burst out from the remaining thunder and flames. The powerful and heavy bar tank kicked for Emperorsbigmom several hundred meters away and smashed through the wall of the headquarters. Mother! Charlotte Category's eyes flashed red, as if she saw a bad future. Paramisha's Nuo fruit is activated, trying to trap rocks and buy time for Big Mom. However, the glutinous rice cake has almost zero restraint on rocks. The Overlord of the Sea. Zero. It's just a matter of seconds. Rocks. The Overlord of the Sea caught up with the four Emperorsbigmom who were flying upside down. It's almost over, Lin. What a shame. The Overlord of the Sea rocks whispers quietly. A single blow fell that entangled the Xion conquerors and destroyed the top weapons within. Hatilda. Four Emperorsbigmom opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body arched like a shrimp, and his eyes turned white. Although there were no wounds on the body surface, the internal organs had suffered an unprecedented severe impact. Boom. Under the impact of the terrifying power, four Emperorsbigmom's figure fell like a meteor, hitting the frozen sea. Rumble. The frozen sea cracked like a spider web. Then it was completely split into two. After passing through tens of meters of ice, there was only a popping sound as Big Mom fell into the sea. The battle is over. Chapter 326 For Emperor's Red Hair, Landing on the Top! Please subscribe. SSSSSSSS Sapadi Islands, Live Square. People eating melons gasped one after another. Hey, is what I saw real? You're kidding. Four Emperorsbigmom. The Emperor of the Sea who came to the New World, was blown up. That Big Mom was defeated in such a short period of time. And even with a trump card of enlargement, this kind of thing is too scary. 36 years ago, 753 Ocean Overlord rocks. How terrifying was that man? Everyone's eyes widened, with extreme shock, horror and disbelief on their faces. Rocks. The Overlord of the Sea 36 years ago, is certainly very powerful. But in the final analysis it is still the power of that man. Captain Caponebig of the Flame Tank Pirates spoke faintly. It's true, whether it's Roger the Pirate King or Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, they all relied on that man's power to resurrect themselves, and they should have used that man's power. Sky Island Monk Ouge nodded. So, is it possible that Fairy Tale President, for Emperor's Sue is now facing off against 5 or 6 Emperor-level experts at the same time? What a joke! Skillichmanap screamed in surprise. There can be no such terrifying existence in this world. Captain Kidd also couldn't accept it and shook his head repeatedly. Fairy Tale's existence itself is the most incredible existence in this sea. Magician Hawkins sighed quietly. Look. At this moment, the square was noisy again. That ship over there. That flag, could it be that? That's right. It's for Emperor's Red Hair Pirates. The last Emperor of the Sea is here too. Wow! Unprecedented hustle and bustle spread across the country. Naval headquarters, Ice East Blue Bay. Finally, for Emperor's Red Hair Pirates thrive. Hajime caused a huge sensation when he appeared. Circle. That's that. That's the Red Hair Pirates. The 4 Emperor's Red Hair Pirates are here too. This. What day is today? All the old and new 4 emperors are here. How could this happen? Our marine situation is already so difficult. Now, 4 emperors Red Hair Pirates, why are they here? On the frozen coast battlefield, people on both sides of the marine and pirate sides were shocked and in an uproar. At this moment, Red Force, Red Hair Pirates. There was also shock and uproar on the deck. There is no other reason. All because of the battle between Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, and Charlotte Lin, the 4 Emperorsbigmom. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, the one being beaten should be 4 Emperorsbigmom. The fat man Lazilu, a high-ranking official in the Red Group, his eyes widened. There is no mistake, that is 4 Emperorsbigmom Charlotte Lin, who is suppressing her. Sniper Yasop looked solemn. Rocks Sebek, Lord of the Sea 36 years ago. Ben Beckman, the vice-captain of the Red Team, took a deep breath and said the name. Nani. That man is Lord of the Sea Rocks. This. Actually beat the 4 emperors. What a terrifying strength this is. No. It's not just that he was pressed down and beaten. Sigao Bigmb was completely defeated. Rockstar and other Red Group pirates were all shocked and screaming. Defeat is not considered a defeat. There is no doubt about the power of 1.03 Overlord Rocks, but it is not easy to defeat 4 emperors, said the ship Dr. Dedge. Indeed. He took reasonable advantage of the terrain, penetrated the ice, and sent Big Mom into the sea. Lime Jones nodded. Of course, no matter what, this is indeed a victory for Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea. The Cardos nodded one after another. Wow, that Ocean Overlord Rocks is looking at us. Could it be? Chapter 327 Overlord Rocks and 4 Emperors Red Hair! Please subscribe. Naval Headquarters, Coastal Battlefield. A depressing atmosphere enveloped everything, all because of the 2 men looking at each other. 4 Emperors Red-Haired Shanks and the Overlord of the Sea Rocks. Wow, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. That Ocean Lord Rox is watching us. Has he not had enough fighting yet and wants to start a fight with Tawu? Rockstar and other newcomers all shouted nervously and secretly sweated. Fortunately, the worst didn't happen. Rox, the overlord of the sea, just looked at it, turned around and left without even looking back. Phew. The ordinary pirates in the red group quietly let out a sigh of relief. It seems that the previous overlord Rox must be confirming our relationship between friends and foes in some way. Sniper Yasop raised an eyebrow. It may indeed be true. After all, he was the overlord of the sea 36 years ago and does not understand the current era. Lime Jones nodded. The crisis is over, boss. When will we enter? Little Fatty Lazilu asked. Ah ha ha ha. Now, the red-haired four emperors were the first to jump off the bow of the Red Force ship. Beckman, Laziru, Yasop and other core cadres followed closely behind the other side until Rox, the overlord of the sea, left. The ministers and cadres of the four Emperorsbigmom pirates finally dared to step forward and came to the ice cave where Big Mom fell. However, before they were ready to rescue red hair, four emperors red-haired Shanks. You, what do you want to do? Don't think that because Mom fell, we are easy to mess with. Prospero, Owen, Daifuku and others hid behind category and scolded sternly and restrainedly. Ah ha ha ha, we have no intention of taking action against you. Having said that, aren't you planning to salvage Big Mom? Four emperors red-haired Shanks laughed. After saying that, he led everyone in the red group straight to the battlefield until the main force of red-hair pirates also left. Everyone in the Big Mom pirates finally felt relieved. The other side. The original four emperors Kaido of the Beasts battles with the samurai Kozuki Oden. The 2-on-2 fierce battle continues, because it was manifested by Suyu's magic. The returning Kozuki Oden has also been strengthened. It is stronger than it was 18 years ago. Even against the current Kaido, it would be difficult to defeat him. The other side. It was Yamato who faced the fire disaster on the 100 Beasts signboard. Originally, Yuri also wanted to fight alongside her father. However, even if he awakens his magic, the gap between him and the flame calamity embers is still too big. The aftermath of the battle alone was unbearable, so Yamato finally took over. In terms of absolute strength, cause and nature are right in the midst of fire and disaster. But, relying on Lunaria's defensive characteristics, it would take a lot of effort for Yamato to defeat the fire calamity. Both battlefields were locked in a fierce stalemate. At this time, boom, the breath of terror descended. Well, I'm worthy of being Captain Rox. He defeated Lin so quickly. The original four emperors Kaido of the Beasts laughed. Still calm on the surface. In fact, he had already begun to curse in his heart. It was so useless to yell at four Emperorsbigmom that they couldn't even contain Rox. If Rox really teamed up with Kozuki Oden, then he would have no choice but to run away on the spot. Ha 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 ha, don't be nervous, Kaido boy, I'm no longer interested in you. Rox, the overlord of the sea, saw Kaido's embarrassment and immediately laughed and left without interfering. Kaido of the Beasts could not wait to breathe a sigh of relief. The next second, a new threat has arrived again. Red Hair. Chapter 328. Four Emperors Red Hair and Kozuki Oden! Exclamation mark. Naval headquarters, on top of the battlefield. Red Hair. The main red-haired group of four emperors looked at Haki coming. Kaido of the Beasts, who was in the middle of a fierce battle with Kozuki Oden, couldn't help but shrink his pupils. Just after sending away Rox, another redhead game for the relationship between the four emperors Redhead and Kozuki Oden. Kaido of the Beasts understands this somewhat, knowing that they were once members of the Roger Pirates. If Kozuki Oden and four emperors Redhair team up, he will definitely be defeated in a short time. Uh-oh. Four Emperors Redhead. To Benitaro from Oden's logbook. Yamato's eyes lit up during the duel with Flame Calamity and he asked quickly. Ah ha ha ha, I guess I'm right. Four Emperors Redhead. Shanks scratched his head, and then looked at Kozuki Oden not far away. Mr. Oden, it's been a long time since I last saw you. I'm really happy to see you again. I am the same, Hontaro, you have really grown up, and you have lived up to our expectations. Now you are already a famous figure in this sea. Kozuki Oden said with a happy face. I am where I am today thanks to Mr. Oden's teaching. Four Emperors Red-haired. Shanks smiled. Then, during the year when Oden joined the Roger Pirates, the young red-haired boy also learned a lot of swordsmanship from Oden and laid a solid foundation. No, you are qualified enough. Kozuki Oden waved his hand. Ah ha ha ha, then Mr. Oden, do you need any help here? Four Emperors Red-haired asked. No, only Kaido's. I must kill him with my own hands. Kozuki Oden said without hesitation. No, how dare you say that, Oden? Kaido of the Beasts is completely relieved. Ah ha ha ha, then I won't interfere, Dr. Oden. The red head of four emperors nodded. Well, let's go, it's been a long time since we saw Roger. Kozuki Oden grinned. The red-haired four emperors strode across the battlefield. At this moment, the battlefield between One Piece Roger and Marine Hero Garp. Before the four emperors red-haired Shanks arrived, 36 years ago, Rox, the overlord of the sea, arrived first. Looking at Roger and Garp's gestures, A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. "What are you laughing at, bastard Rocks? If you want to end, just come over here and I'll take over the path of here." Garp Haki. He, you bastard Garp, you and Roger, bastard, were able to beat me by an arrow margin 36 years ago. After so many years, your skills have not improved, but your tone has become much louder. Rocks. The Overlord of the Sea sneered again and again. "Stop being so long-winded. If you have the ability, just come over here." Garp stopped drinking. "Don't interfere, Rocks. I don't want to join forces with you." One Piece Roger also stopped drinking. "And Garp, now you have to do your best to even deal with my attack, so stop pretending. You are obviously at the end of your strength." "Asshole Roger, do you think I want to join forces with you?" "You idiot Roger, you want to defeat me?" "It's too early." Ocean Overlord Rocks and Marine here Garp shouted in unison. "Asshole Garp/Rocks, don't talk to me." The two strong men from the old era spoke in unison again. "It's really off-putting." Rocks. The Overlord of the Sea walked away angrily. "Okay, there are no more people in the way. Just come over here." "Roger, my, good, number one disciple killed your son instantly. Now it's my turn to beat your head into a pig's head!" Garp is gearing up and full of momentum. "Ah, let's put the fight aside for now and wait until I talk to the juniors first." Pirate King Roger laughed and said, looking at the red-haired member of the Four Emperors walking not far away. "Hey, Shanks, it's been so long." A bright arc appeared on Roger's face. "Captain Roger." Claw. Four Emperors red-haired Shanks' eyes suddenly turned red and tears accumulated. Chapter 329 Four Emperors Red Hair and Pirate King Roger! Sapadi Islands. Mangrove number 30. Live Square. Ha. It really made me laugh to death. I really didn't expect that Kaido of the Beasts would also be scared one day. And he was scared one after another. This is inevitable. After all, he was the Overlord of the Sea who defeated 4 Emperorsbigmom in a short time. The 4 Emperors Red Hair Pirates are not vegetarians. If Kozuki Oden really joins forces with one of them, even if Kaido of the Beasts is a powerful emperor, he will never be able to defeat the 2 powerful emperors joining forces and will be defeated in a short time. The tens of thousands of reporters and Melanitas gathered in the square were all talking about it. Uh-oh, that Ocean Chamber Master Rocks is heading towards the battlefield between Hero Garp and Pirate King Roger this time. Nani, are you kidding? This shouldn't be the time for something to happen, right? 36 years ago, the Overlord of the Sea, Rocks, was defeated by 887 Vice Admiral Garp and Pirate King Roger, but 36 years later, the situation has fundamentally changed. Now Roger and Rocks are a team. Is Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, joining forces with Roger, the Pirate King? Vice Admiral Garp will really be unable to withstand it now. No. People who were laughing heartily a second ago now had their faces slumped. Many people quickly raised their hands to cover their eyes, not daring to look at the next scene. Fortunately, the worst didn't happen. Rocks, the Overlord of the Sea, did not interfere in the battle between Roger and Garp. After some talk, he left on his own. However, people did not wait to breathe a sigh of relief. The next second, 4 Emperors Red Hair Pirates followed suit again. One Piece Roger and Ocean Overlord Rocks don't get along, but 4 Emperors Red-Haired Shanks used to be a member of the Roger Pirates. Are we really going to join forces this time? At this moment, Naval Headquarters, on top of the battlefield. Captain Roger, long time no see. The tough guy 4 Emperors Red-Haired man has tears in his eyes and his eyes are red. Ahahaha, Shanks, you have really grown up. Roger, the Pirate King, laughed and stepped forward, giving the 4 Emperors Red-Haired man a big hug. Captain Roger, it's so nice to see you again. Tears couldn't stop falling for him who grew up in the Roger Pirates. One Piece Roger is not only a captain and partner, but also a father-like figure. His feelings for Pirate King Roger are deeper than anyone else. Public execution day in Lake Town 22 years ago. The young red-haired boy burst into tears. 20, Cabk. 2 years later. Watching the return of Pirate King Roger, even though he has grown into the 4 Emperors, even though he is already the top figure in the world, the red-haired Shanks still can't help but want to cry. Ha, I cried. These are tears of joy. After all, Mr. Roger is resurrected. Mr. Roger means more to the boss than anyone else. The cadres of the Red Regiment, including the fat man Lazalu, the sniper Yasop, and the ship's Dr. Didge, all laughed happily. Kula-la-la-la, the snot-nosed kid is the snot-nosed kid. Marine battlefield, 4 Emperors Whitebeard laughed loudly. Damn red hair. What on earth does he want to do here? Marshal Sengoku gritted his teeth. I always feel that Roger has a better relationship with the red-haired boy than with his own son, Ace. Phoenix Marco, the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates 1st Division, twitched his lips. Sure enough, Shanks is here too. Pluton Rayleigh nodded happily. He, Shanks. It's Shanks and the others. Hey, Shanks. The Straw Hat Boy waved excitedly. We meet again, Luffy. Long time no see. You have become a pirate in your own right. Lime Jones, Bendick and other Red League cadres all waved hello. Boss, look over there, it's Luffy. The little fat man lazily even shouted excitedly. The next second, before the four emperors' red hair could react, Roger, redhead, that's enough for you two. The warm father and son reunion was broken by a burst of angry shouting. It was Marine here Garp who was getting angry. Chapter 334 Emperor's Red Hair. Give me some face! Exclamation mark. Please subscribe. It's almost time for you to stop. Evil gang. Marine Legend Vice Admiral here Garp shouted loudly. 2 rows of snow-white teeth crunched loudly. Red hair pirates would be fine if they didn't mention their grandson Luffy. As soon as he mentioned it, Garp couldn't help but feel heartache, stomach pain, liver pain, and pain all over his body. I have worked hard to raise my great-grandson until he is 6 or 7 years old. I originally planned to take him to naval headquarters to receive a good education in a few years. In the future, he must be trained as a successor and a talent useful to society. The result was unintended, and it was an oversight. The great-grandson was completely led astray by the red-haired pirates. He keeps clamoring all day long to go to sea and become a pirate, and to become the Pirate King. I originally thought of throwing him to Dardan and letting him follow Ace to calm down. In the end, it turned out to be self-defeating. With the addition of Sabo, these 3 great eldest grandsons all had less to worry about. Ace and Sabo aside, at least Straw Hat Luffy's detour is directly related to the red hair of 4 emperors. Ah, Vice Admiral Garp, why are you looking at me like this? I'm not here to cause trouble today. 4 emperors red-haired Shanks made a red hair. It's all because of you. If it weren't for you, Luffy would be an honorable sailor now. Garp gritted his teeth. Don't talk nonsense, Grandpa. I don't want to be a sailor. The Straw Hat Boy on the battlefield not far away heard it and shouted loudly. I am the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Oh. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirate group cheered and cheered. Ah, Garp, your grandson will definitely be able to realize this dream. Pirate King Roger laughed. Shut up, Roger. The expression on Garp's old face became increasingly ugly. The redhead of 4 emperors coughed twice. Let's end the small talk, Vice Admiral Garp. Next is the topic. Now that things have happened, are you Marine sure you want to continue fighting? 4 emperors red-haired Shanks asked back. Before Garp could speak, the red-haired man continued, now that Fairy Tail has intervened, you should know that you Marines have no chance of winning. I'm not here to help either of you. I just want to end this war. HMPH, that's easy to say. How do you plan to get married? Garp sneered. The red-haired 4 emperors didn't say anything, but showed everything with his actions. Click, boom. Between heaven and earth, black and red lightning danced wildly, lingering around the red-haired bodies of 4 emperors. That's the physical embodiment of Conqueror's Haki. At some point, black and red conquerors flashed and gathered into a ball, then exploded. Boom, rumble. The unparalleled pressure of Conqueror's Haki sweeps across the entire naval headquarters battlefield. Please give me flowers. 0. All of a sudden, the huge naval headquarters was quiet. After the summit war in the Song world, the strength of both Marine and High was reduced by half. The remaining half is not in very good shape either. Now, shocked by the unparalleled conquerors of the 4 emperors red-haired Shanks, the most Haki man in the world, all over the battlefield, Marines and pirates rolled their eyes and fell to the ground one after another. 0. To the end. The number of strong men on both sides who could barely stand was already less than 10,000. Red hair. What on earth do you want? Redhead. Suddenly unleash such horrific conquerors. He truly deserves to be the hackiest man in the world. This is conquerors from the 4 emperors red-haired Shanks. It's really scary. Even the strong men at the rear admiral level have fallen. Is this really conquerors? People on both sides of the Marine and pirate sides were shocked, seeing everyone's eyes focused on him. 4 emperors red-haired Shanks cleared his throat. Gentlemen, if this battle has reached this point, there is no point in continuing it except to increase casualties. I am here to end this war. Please give me a face and let this war end here! Exclamation mark. 4 emperors red-haired Shanks said quietly. Chapter 331 Red Hair, Face. Rocks. No. Please subscribe. Sapadi Islands. Mangrove number 30. Live Square. Gudong tilde. Gudong tilde. Look at the red-haired Shanks of the 4 emperors shown on the left light screen. The tens of thousands of reporters and Melanitas gathered in the square couldn't help but swallow nervously. What will this war look like next? 4 emperors red-haired Shanks. What on earth is he here for? Are you really going to join forces with the former captain to fight against the enemy? To be honest, this possibility is very high. Oh, that red-haired 727 is starting to make some moves. Under the shocked eyes of reporters and Melanitas, black and red conquerors lightning shines across the sky and earth. What is that black and red lightning? I have never known what kind of ability the red-haired Shanks of the 4 emperors is. Seeming Skulakomanap screamed strangely. No, this black and red lightning is different from the lightning that Fairy Tail will grow. It is not the product of ability users. Previously, Roger the Pirate King, 4 emperors Kaido of the Beasts, and Ocean Overlord Rocks have all used it. Tangled in, go ahead with your respective attacks. Captain Caponebig of the Flame Tank Pirates said. This is probably a skill that can only be possessed by the top warriors in the sea. Sky Island Monk Aero Uj said. Armament Haki? No. No. It's far from the armament haki I know. Fallen Marine Rear Admiral Drake shook his head. The black and red lightning exploded. This. What on earth is going on? The people on the battlefield, they all fell down. Hey, are you kidding? Marine and the Whitebeard pirates. The total remaining troops on both sides are still 70,000 to 80,000. However, more than 80% of so many people fell down in an instant. What the hell is going on here? All the reporters and spectators let out horrifying screams. Every face had an expression as unbelievable as seeing a ghost. I can't understand it at all, let alone accept this horrific scene. Is this? Is it the work of four emperors? Red-haired Shanks? Sky Island Monkairo Ush screamed. Conquerors. That's Conqueror's haki. I've heard of this kind of power. It's the king's qualification that only one person in a million can awaken. Captain Caponebig of the Flame Tank Pirates shouted. Are you kidding me? Of course I know Conqueror's haki, but I've never known anyone whose Conqueror's haki can be so powerful. Seeming Skulakamanap kept making strange noises. You must know that all the sailors gathered at naval headquarters today are the elite of the elite, and the members of the Whitebeard pirates are not weak. How could it be possible for a mere overlord? Fallen Marine Rear Admiral Drake was also completely stunned. This kind of power is far beyond the scope of human beings. Killing Warrior Kira screamed in shock. He turned to look at his best friend Kid. According to their vision, after entering New World, their first target is four emperors. Red-haired Shanks, because compared to the other 3-4 emperors, red hair is relatively low-key. In addition, he does not have a monster body like Whitebeard, Kaido, and Bigmom. Like them, the four emperors are all accomplished by ordinary people. In Kid's eyes, it should be easier to deal with. But, look at this scene now. They finally found out how terrible are the so-called four emperors. Even the industrialist Shanks, who was looked down upon by them, was truly the emperor who ruled over the sea. No. Impossible. How could such a thing happen? The world shouldn't be so far apart. Captain Kidd couldn't accept 2.9 and shook his head repeatedly. At this moment, naval headquarters atop the battlefield. Please give me some face and let the war end here. As the voice of haki from the four emperors red-haired Shanks fell, the huge battlefield fell silent. However, just the next second, Kid, what does your face mean? A voice full of disdain echoed on the battlefield. Rocks. The Overlord of the Sea used practical actions to reject the red-haired face of the four emperors. Chapter 332, Rocks. Feijia Landgarin Waste! Please subscribe. Naval headquarters, on top of the battlefield. I'm here to end this war. Please give me some face. Four emperors red-haired Shanks haki's opening. In conjunction with the previously dominating conquerors, this sentence has unparalleled deterrent power. Even the marine radical hawks headed by Admiral Aokiji knew. At this moment, the collective silence could not help but clenched their teeth and said nothing, because they have to think about it. Four emperors red-haired Shanks also joins in on the war's dire consequences. Facing a Whitebeard pirate group, they are confident that they can eat it. But, if you add another four emperors red-hair pirates, the situation will definitely change dramatically. No, now that the red hair of four emperors has released conquerors, the battlefield has changed dramatically. As expected of the four emperors redhead, this haki is simply unparalleled. Sabo, the young chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, praised. There are no weaklings on this battlefield, but that redhead from the four emperors was able to defeat so many people instantly with conquerors. Haki is so powerful beyond imagination. Fairy Queen Urza looked solemn. It's been so long since I came to the world of pirates. For the power system of this world, Urza naturally understood this already. This war has reached this juncture. It is indeed the best thing to have such a person come out to mediate and bring everything to an end. The blind swordsman smiled and nodded. Of course, the four emperors red-haired mediation is limited to the Whitebeard pirates and marine, and has nothing to do with us at Fairy Tale. Robin whispered to himself. Marshal Sengoku. The eyes of all marine executives fell on Marshal Sengoku, waiting for his orders. Whether the fight continues or ends, only Marshal Sengoku decides. However, just when Marshal Sengoku was caught in a fierce battle between heaven and man, he didn't know how to make a choice. The other side. Fairy Tale and World Government Battlefield. A terrible surprise occurred. Now that Urta, Mirajane and others have finished the battle, only Gildarts, the leader of the Knights of God Figol Landgarin, and two Knights of God were left fighting. Certainly, the reason why the three of Figol and Jaren were able to persist under Gilders for so long. In addition to their careful coordination of abilities, the most important reason is that Gilworth did not think about fighting the Speed King quickly, but because I want to see as many of their methods as possible. Even if he didn't go all out, Figol Landgarin was still forced into a desperate situation. Facing the unfathomable Gilders, he did not dare to relax or be careless at all. All his attention was focused on Gilders, so much so that he ignored the threat from behind. Poof! The long knife flew past and penetrated his waist. The huge force pushed his body upside down for dozens or hundreds of meters. A shrill scream followed. Immediately after, there was a voice with a touch of a sarcasm. Red-haired brat, your face is nothing. Rocks. The Overlord of the Sea, sneered. 710 damn it. Rocks. You deserve to die. Landgarin yelled in anger. Shut up. Even my defeated generals dare to scream and scream. Overlord Rocks glared at Landgarin, and his face turned pale in an instant. When will this war end? You, the red-haired kid, don't have the say, nor does Newgate, nor does Marshal Marine. The only one who can decide whether the war ends or not is the Lord! Rocks. The Overlord of the Sea, looked at the battleground between Suyu and the five elders. The Marines and pirates who were still standing on the battlefield also collectively turned their heads to pay attention. Gee ha 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 ha, that's right. Above the sky, Golden Lion Shiki laughed loudly. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, link in the description. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.